biblical folks. So we got to see
We're
where
live
we're
on
at.
YouTube. Let's do it.
All right, right on. My name's True Powers Mine.
I'm Dimebag Darley,
CI Cobra Immortal, the one and only.
and it is Friday, January the 26th.
What year?
Oh, 2018, sorry.
The year of our Lord. Thank
Amen.
you, folks, for watching today. This is the Other Morning Show. We have, once again, Mark from Anaheim on the True Powers Mind hotline. Mark, you there?
No.
Okay.
Okay, there's Mark.
But, Mark, before we start off, there was a question that one of our
Well,
listeners
wait a
asked.
minute. You said, you were saying hello to all your friends and fans and stuff. What? You're going to be discriminating today? You're not going to say hi to all your enemies and haters that are also listening?
Yes.
Oh, no.
yeah.
Oh, we should get to them
Yes.
first.
Haters and
Yeah,
enemies.
Can't forget that, man. Thank you for all the haters that know we're doing the show today.
They knew they was lurking in the weeds.
Hey, I got a
Hell
weed
yeah.
whacker for you. You keep lurking around here.
But, yeah, we want to say thank you to all the new subscribers
Oh,
and the
yes.
people that's been
Thank you.
watching the content and sharing it and leaving comments.
And thank you
Yes.
for the doctor. We received, well, we need to talk about the Patreon, but we also thank you for the book, Unchained, that was sent to us.
This person sent it.
All right.
Hope y'all can see that. But this person sent it. I don't want to mess her
Dr.
name up. Or his
Ugandai.
name up. But
Ugandai.
thank you very much.
We will be sending you a personal
Yeah,
letter.
but did Stormy show up?
Stormy.
Stormy Daniels,
Who's that?
Yeah.
the point.
I sent her your way. You guys didn't get her?
No.
Oh, that's right. She's still in high. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Damn it.
Don't too much get to us.
I didn't even know about no porno. But anyhow, the thing is, tonight, we're on the precipice as a nation. We got some great things coming down the pike. We got some bad things coming down the
That's
pike.
right.
A lot of people are very excited about Walmart. Oh yeah, they're giving their people $700 or $500 bonus. But then no one's talking about the people in some club. You come to work, you got your little knapsack with you, your little lunch bucket, and the doors are chained. Sayonara. Hope you have unemployment. Goodbye.
We'll
So we
fight
got to
that.
see that
They gonna
these
fight
things
that
are changing
unemployment.
quite rapidly. We're headed into fast, rapid transition. And we better be on board. You guys better get this knowledge we're trying to tell you. If you want to research us, double check us, by all means, waste your time. But if you don't, listen to us, get this knowledge, and act on it, and go out here and survive. Because we are survivors. That's what we do.
And I still got 2 extra pitchforks. Been sharpening them up. Been
Uh-oh.
sharpening them. Oh, yeah, we got President Obama in the house, too.
Ding, ding, ding. We got to put this
And the
down.
Tupac turkey, so.
Yes, he's riding the turkey
You
today.
know, y'all just mentioned Walmart. If you reverse those backwards, it's martial law.
No, that's what Walmart spelled. Oh, there you
martial
go.
law.
Maybe that's why they're making them like little prisons with chain link fence with the chain links facing on the inside so you can't climb out.
Yeah.
They're like camps, like concentration camps almost.
Oh, goodness grief.
Well, that's what they do.
So anyhow, Mark, how's life been treating you out there in the land of fruits and nuts?
See how you are, man? See how you refer to my state of California? By the way, see, unlike the rest of you folks who still live in a dream world and think this is a democracy and all that, look on the state flag for California. It says right on the damn flag, Republic of California.
That it does.
Same with Texas. See, they know what's going on. And while you might say the land of fruit and honey, like I said before, I've lived in every part of this country except in the Pacific Northwest. California is the most racist state I've ever lived in. And you do some research, brah.
Oh, I
At the
lived
height
out
of the
there.
Klan, of course you know the Klan's coming back now, but at the height of the Klan, Indiana was the #1 state for KKK. California was #2.
Wow.
Damn.
Wow.
This ain't no liberal state.
Wow.
I guess you believe in that because all the media attention goes to the few major cities out here.
Right.
And most of the time, one major city they don't include is San Diego, because San Diego's on the border. And you got John Birch Society and Minutemen down there, and hell, militia white boys down there. This ain't no liberal state.
They're extremely conservative. in North
You
County.
you go anywhere 100 miles in any direction out of L.A. or the Bay Area, and you back in Hooterville, dude.
Now what was that one thing I had?
But before we go on, though, just remember this. I just have to mention one family, the Manson family.
Oh God, Charlie's dead.
What did he have carved in his forehead?
The swastika.
That tells you how liberal California is. Because there are a whole lot more people that got killed by them, and you don't even hear about it. Not to mention all the black folks down in the hood. They would go down on the weekends and routinely go down in the hood, act like they're buying dope just to shoot and kill a black dope dealer. And that was never reported or connected to him, even though he admitted far more murders. They didn't. Well, we don't want to talk about those.
What?
All you heard about is the white folks he killed.
I never heard that before. Never.
That's why I'm on the show.
Yes,
That's
sir.
my job.
I wouldn't be surprised them little sick
impart
bastards.
knowledge to the younger folks that you've never heard. And for all y'all listening, like I said before, don't believe anything I tell you. Do your own damn research and find out for yourself.
And that's
I
the
will
only
never
point
lie
I
to the
disagree.
listeners, but it's sad because this is information. See, in the past, when I used to go on radio shows before the internet, yeah, he's crazy, conspiratorial. But see, now you guys can go out and do the web search for yourself.
Yes.
Mhm.
We're
And you
high
will
tech.
find that Charles Manson admitted to doing far more murders than he was ever charged with. But he used to brag about going down in the hood and shooting black dope dealers.
Well, wasn't his whole concept of helter skelter a race war?
Yeah, that's because his father was.
They were all racist.
Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't know that, right?
No, I knew he was a racist scumbag.
None-
Like, oh Lord. If you ask me.
See, that's what I'm trying to tell you, dude. Back in the day, what happened was when his father, when Charlie Manson was arrested outside of D.C. and he was put in a juvenile hall, they even put it so much as so on his damn official record that his daddy was mulatto. Because, you know, they got a category for everything for us. Quadroon, mulatto, octoroon.
Wait, what was his daddy mixed with?
Well, he was part black and part white. Out of, I think, like out of Ashland, Kentucky, or the Ohio area.
So Charlie Manson's daddy was half black, half white.
And he hated black people.
Well, I don't know if he was half, but he might have been quadroon.
Oh, I got
But
you.
the
I
way,
got
but the
you.
way they put it on his juvenile records, they just said that his dad was some possible mulatto kitchen worker out of Ohio or West Virginia.
Wow.
No, seriously. So, but the great thing about it is having that on his official juvenile records. These people can't put that out there and deny it now because that's in his official record. No, seriously. So here's the thing. So what you have is a guy who grew up hating his father because his father wasn't there for him. So that's that self-hatred, just like a lot of us black folks. We kill more black people than the Klan ever will because we get that self-hatred inside of us.
Unfortunately,
Right.
yes.
True.
That's
Now, I'll
'cause-
tell you this now. Now, here's another one on the reverse side. You got the Black Panthers. And one of the major players in the Black Panthers, his father was black. What's the problem with that? Well, here's the problem. His mom is white. His mom lived down in Alabama,
Mm-hmm.
and she had an affair with a colored guy.
Oh, shit.
Now, oh, by the way, who I'm talking about is Johnny Spain. So Johnny Spain, when he was born, his white father just loved him to death till he was like 3 or 4 years old, and somebody goes, "That's a nigger boy."
Mm.
And so, after started looking at him more closely, he went and confronted his wife, and she admitted that she had had an affair, and they had to leave Alabama.
Wow.
So Johnny Spain grew up hating his white father because, up until that point, he was the cream of the crop, and the father was inseparable from him, loved her, and then overnight turned against him. So Johnny Spain grew up hating white people.
Wow.
So just like with Charlie Manson hating his dad, who was black, Johnny Spain hated people that even though his father was black, but the only father he ever knew was his white father.
Right.
And so why am I saying this to you? Without all the psychobabbling, much of the drama and the trauma that we see in this society today is because of that lack of relationship, lack of love,
Yes.
lack of leadership, and lack of bonding between those of us and our fathers.
Daddy issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know about daddy issues. Remember, all I coach is female surfers from around the world.
And you
And
know,
it didn't even dawn on me till last year during one of my contests. I go, damn, you realize, except for one, all of my female surfers have no father at home.
oh wow.
I didn't even think about that. I was like, damn. And of course, they're always spending with moms.
And they're wealthy girls too.
Well, some of them. Most of the ones I coach are not. That's why I coach them, because I don't charge them anything. Women get no love, man. They get no sponsors. You get these guys who are like 5, 6 years old. They got sponsors, and you get these girls who are on the world tour. One had to sell her damn house to go on the tour.
She's that dedicated.
Well, not just that. See, she don't fit the profile. She's from Brazil, got tattoos.
Oh.
She ain't blonde hair, blue eye, and sweet poly purebred, so they don't sponsor her, and she kicks their ass anyway.
Yeah.
By the way, for those out there, her name is Savannah Lima. Love that girl. But she stands strong, and then when she speaks up for women's rights, they dog her, man. She gets no sponsor. And I will have to say, even coming on a show like this, I don't. There's certain things that I avoid saying now because I know it'll be blowback on some of the girls I coach. So I have to, I hate it, but even now I kind of temper myself because I don't want them to suffer the consequences.
See, I was
The
under
sins
the
of the
impression
father,
it was
so
under
to
the
speak.
radar.
Yeah, I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah, but he warned us the last time.
Yeah.
You know the British Secret Service is listening in.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
So.
In fact, I have a lot of it's funny because sometimes they actually call in when I'm on Carl Nelson's show. I actually have people from across the pond that call in during the show.
Wow.
Because they freak out too. Because I share information on the show about Great Britain. They're like, damn, we didn't know this. And then I run a Facebook site. It's really weird because I was never in the British Army, but there's this one British unit, and whoever ran the site, he decided to leave Facebook, and he made me the administrator. I'm like, what the hell?
Wow.
And so, I put information on there, and a lot of times I put information on here from across the pond, and some of these guys, you can tell, there's a lot of races in Great Britain, too.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
give a shit. It's just like when I run several law enforcement sites, a couple that are closed to the public, and then I run, several Marine Corps and a couple of Navy SEAL sites, and these guys hate what I post, but they read what I post because they know I'm not lying to folks.
Right.
Yes.
And so what happened to me? I was suspended from Facebook for a week last week. Now, mind you, to this day, I was never told why I was suspended. But I'm sure it's because of all the Trump trolls out there. See, everything's operated now by algorithms and computers.
Yes.
So what these people do now is they get enough of their folks to complain about something you post. The computer doesn't actually have a human look at it. They just assume, well, if this many people complain about it, must be something wrong about it. So let's spank his ass.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
And that's the bad thing about it. There is like a built-in, basically, racism in the algorithm. That's why they.
Oh, of course.
Spent
Well,
all
who
this.
created it?
Yeah.
Now, here's the ironic thing. Now, these folks always talk about the stand niggas and the Muslims and the Iranians. It was an Iranian who created damn algorithms.
What?
Yeah.
It's
I
like
know,
we're
I gotta
forging
quit- I
our
gotta
own
quit
chain.
Yeah, I got to quit dropping knowledge here.
No, we need it.
We crave it.
No, seriously, the original mathematics that's used today in algorithms came from Persia, because that's what Iran was back in the day.
Got another one of them in there?
In the truck.
But Persia, OPEC, all of this,
OPEC. Now, why would you mention OPEC?
because of the fact that our last conversation on the air here,
Yeah.
when you talk about BRICS, and I did not know what BRICS was at that time, but now I do.
Well,
OPEC.
tell our listeners, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa.
Yes, and they're an economic powerhouse. There was an
And
article
the
that
United States and the petrodollar being sucked up by the Saudis is in danger of having their world-dominated currency threatened. And
Yes.
that's why we're headed for World War. In
Yes.
fact, if you're not aware of this, I'm a former Marine Corps nuclear, biological, chemical warfare instructor, and I'm only 60 years old. Never in my lifetime have I seen what I saw yesterday. They just turned the doomsday clock up to 2 minutes.
Wow.
Now, for those that don't know what the doomsday clock is, that's what they're saying, how close we are to a nuclear war.
Nuclear annihilation. Folks, we're
All
headed
because of number 45.
Well, but there is a bigger game at play, though. Right? There has to be a bigger game at
I'm
play.
sorry I couldn't hear you. The rats in the background were making noise.
There's a bigger game at play. I mean, the presidency is a very powerful position, but there's more people who are the true puppet masters. The John
I
Birchers.
think what you're really saying is the president doesn't run the country. In fact, the last guy who was president who thought he ran the country should have never driven through Dallas with the top down.
Right.
Right. Well, you know how
See
it
how
is.
easy that was?
Well, yeah, yeah, but you know, this show here is geared towards you young people. You know,
Really?
we don't want the Fox
Well,
News crowd.
so what you're telling me is Roy Moore is probably listening then.
Well, if he is listening, then he needs to leave them kids alone.
So now while you're laughing and saying leave the kids alone, stop using that word. Kid means billy goat. See, these are the words they inject into your mind so you actually refer to children less than a human being.
There you
Yes,
go.
words do mean things. All the power
See,
on earth.
see, when I say they, Europeans use words like crumb snatcher, curtain crawler, kid, because they hate their children. And that's why they don't give a damn about destroying this planet, because they don't give a damn about the future, because they're not going to be around for it.
Wow.
In fact, in the
Epitome of
70s and 80s, their bumper sticker was, I'm spending my grandchildren's inheritance.
Mm.
I'm
And those
serious.
cougars are doing just that.
Yep.
Just that.
You know it.
And then you get the evangelicals, the guys like Mike Pence and them, who believe no matter what they do or no matter who they use to get there, it's okay because they're going to heaven with God.
Right.
Yeah, they're facilitating.
So while folks are sitting here using logic and trying to reason, there's no logic or reason with these folks. They're fanatics. These are the kind of folks who say if your daughter got raped, God intended for her to have a baby, so you can't even give her the morning pill the day afterwards so she doesn't get pregnant by some asshole that raped her.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm serious. That's
They do
what
that.
they're thinking. And so going back to what you said earlier about Roy Moore, since I know you gentlemen are so astute, name me one state in this country that a 14-year-old girl can't get married.
There's not one.
No.
In fact, there's one
Exactly.
state up north. They can get
You
married at
just
12.
answered it. A 14-year-old girl can get married in any state in this country, and in one state you could be 12 and get married as a girl. So while people sit here and talk their crap, that's why this country's so screwed up. Because this country is schizophrenic. They'll sit here on the one hand and talk to you about pedophile, 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 but the fact is a 12-year-old girl can get married in a state in this country legally. In fact, Ellie Mae Clampett on the Beverly Hills Billy wasn't 18 years old yet, and she was considered an old maid because she wasn't married yet.
But back then, you had to have them babies.
Back then, my butt, dude, let me explain to you this, because I know some people don't think this is racist, but you know me, I just call a spade a spade.
There you go.
You go to a black person's funeral, that black person may have been dead for 2 weeks, because they'll hold the body so we can have a big party at the funeral and everything, right?
Right.
Right.
You can't do that with my European brothers and sisters.
3 days.
Why not?
Because they got to go in the ground quick. They turn gray.
There you go. So, now having said that, if you look at most of these white boys, they get married and are divorced by the time they're in their mid-30s because what they saw when she was 14 and 15 is already gone.
Right.
And look at Donald Trump. He's on his third.
Yeah.
Look at Rupert Murdoch. He's on his fourth. Even though this time around he married one of Mick Jagger's druggies, but
Oh,
and I should tell you folks this since I'm all over the place. Now for years I've been telling folks, you guys, when I say you guys, Tea Party folks, John Birch Society folks, they go, don't come to me with your Fox News. How can you believe Fox News is telling you what's really going on when the number one owner of Fox News is an Australian married to a Australian immigrant married to a Chinese immigrant, and the number two owner of Fox News is a Saudi Muslim who funds terrorists around the world and put up the money to build the mosque at Ground Zero where the World Trade Center was. Now, why am I telling you this? The wife of Murdoch is no longer his wife because they're divorced now, but she still uses his last name. Have you ever heard of Wendy Deng? D-E-N-G?
no.
You guys got some homework to do because all these years I've been telling folks how Fox is not our friend. Now Wendy Dent is under investigation for being somebody who was possibly working for the Chinese government the whole time, especially the Chinese government while being real close to people in the Trump family and the Trump administration.
Wow.
So y'all check that one out. Wendy Dent Murdoch, is she a spy for China?
Wow.
That's crazy.
Oh, but when she came to this country, now, white family couple are over in China. They fall in love with this little girl and want to see her have a better life. They bring her back to the U.S. She sleeps with the guy. The wife kicks her out the house. The husband leaves his wife for her.
Wow.
And then after being with him for a year and a half, she moves on.
Whoa.
I say she was a spy from day one, but hey, what do I know? That's
Yep.
that's the perfect, what we used to do, well, when I say we, if you guys don't know this, I am very familiar with the spook community, but that's the perfect, what we call a mole.
Yes.
It's like I can tell this since we got some younger folks in the crowd. If you all want to see a classic mole movie that you could all young folks relate to, see the movie Salt. It's like Pepper and Salt. See the movie Salt with Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie. Saw.
Yep. We call sleeper cells. Everybody talks about sleeper cells when it comes to Muslims. Please.
Yes.
The Russians and the Europeans and the U.S. are the masters at sleeper cells.
Well, yeah.
Or for older folks, if you want to see Sidney Poitier, he was in a movie called Nikita, where he's Air Force and Alphabet Agency and sleeper moles in San Diego back in the 80s.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I did have one
But, you know-
question from you.
I'm sorry?
I have a question from one of our viewers. They asked, could you ask Mark from Anaheim? There's some sort of cable TV show. It's called Billionaires. Who is that show based on?
Yeah.
Well, one, I don't watch television. I haven't watched television in years. The only time I even turn my television on is to watch my videos, but I will turn it on every once in a while when there's a natural disaster. I've
Yeah.
never had satellite, haven't had cable since '89 when my daughter was born. And I don't have a smartphone, don't have an iPad, don't have an iPhone. Still using dial-up, talking to you folks right now on dial-up, so I can't Google it and try to get the answer like everybody else does when y'all have a radio show. However, there is a magazine called Billionaires, and you can't even get that subscription unless you make a certain amount of money.
Wow.
Now, one of the things this country has done, you have what's called they call themselves prosperity Christianity.
Yes.
You familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
Claim it and
Okay. Now, listen, I was teaching Sunday school at the age of 9. Now, I don't know what world they live in, but in every Bible I've ever looked at, it says it's more difficult for a rich man to get into heaven than it is for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle.
Mm-hmm.
Now today, the thing is, if you're poor, then that means you're not a good Christian.
right.
Right.
Now this all started back in the 40s, late 40s, early 50s, where certain people went into political administrations at that time. Because folks, you have to remember, Republican Party used to be colored folks. Those colored folks got freed, as they call it, by Abraham Lincoln, and he was a Republican. However, at the culmination of the stock market crash, which is going to happen again, by the way, Herbert Hoover came in just like Obama came in after the 2008 debacle. Well, when Herbert Hoover came in, he, by the way, is the first one to use the Southern strategy. Is there anyone there who does not know what I mean by Southern strategy?
Oh, we know. We know.
I
what the
would not
Southern
be
strategy-
out niggered again.
Yep.
So I'm going to just remind the listeners out there what the Southern strategy is. The Southern strategy is where when you're trying to get into office, you have to appeal to a base of people and divide them by letting them know you're not here to support the colored folks.
Right.
Now, you have to remember, prior to the stock market crash, back in the days of the Federal Reserve, Woodrow Wilson was the president when the Federal Reserve was created. Donald,
Hold on. Are you there?
Did we lose him? We having some technical difficulties, folks.
Hello, Mark. Turn that thing on. Make sure it's on.
It's on.
Okay. We will call him right
Call
back.
him back.
Gosh. How utterly embarrassing.
We still got to work out the kinks on the True Powers Mind hotline.
Yes, it's
We got to
it's
just
a
work
little
out-
temperamental, folks.
Yeah.
Please bear
First
with
time
me.
we updated the system, the phone line, and he was kind of against moving up in technology, and look where it got us.
Yeah.
Trump.
Oh.
He's there.
I don't know why our phone line, you had drowned it out.
Oh man, were we live?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're live.
We're
yeah.
live.
Oh well, I guess I'll be suspended on Facebook for another week.
They had to shut it down. The
Yeah.
phones to beat.
But no, we're going to
Shut
keep
them
this rolling.
down, shut them down, shut them down. One of my favorite songs by Public Enemy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, my cousin, I'm from Johns Island, South Carolina, but what you don't know is my cousin, he's from James Island, South Carolina.
What's the difference?
Any idea which one of Public Enemy is my cousin from James Island, South Carolina?
Ew.
Chuck D.
I'll give you a hint. He slapped Bridget Nielsen.
Professor Griff?
No.
Hell no. Oh, God.
It'll probably be
Flavor Flav.
Reverend Rev.
Flavor Flav.
No,
I said Chuck D.
no, Run. It'll be Run.
He said from Run DMC.
Yeah.
I just said Flavor Flav.
Oh, Flavor Flav?
Flav.
Oh.
He's the one that slapped Bridget Nielsen.
Oh, yeah, on that
Yeah.
reality
Oh,
show.
I don't know.
He
I
just
didn't
got-
watch
he
that.
just
No,
got
but
beat-
that
he
was
just
that
got
big old
beat up.
blonde Viking chick.
Yeah.
He
smacked
just,
shit out of her.
got beat up.
Who?
Flavor Flav did in Vegas.
Got beat up.
Yeah, they got a video of him getting his ass whooped.
Oh, shit. That ain't
I
cool.
wouldn't be surprised.
That ain't cool.
It probably was
It ain't
alcohol
like they
was
don't,
involved.
it ain't like they don't have enemies out there.
Mm.
Right.
But then that was their name, right? Public Enemy.
Number one. Fear of a
Meanwhile, you
black
talking
planet.
about Professor Griff. Hey, Professor Griff hangs out with Alex Jones and them, so I ain't got much for him. But and George Norrie on Coast to Coast. So I ain't got time for folks to hang out with the enemy. But getting back to what I was saying, so not since Woodrow Wilson have we had somebody in the White House so overtly racist.
Yes.
And during Wilson's time, he premiered the first movie ever shown at the White House. That was Birth of a Nation.
Yes, that rag of a movie.
So I pay attention to stuff. So on the 100th anniversary of that, what did Barack Obama do?
He had it at the White House. He watched it.
Mm-hmm.
No. What movie did he have at the White House?
Which
Selma.
one? Selma?
Yeah.
But that one didn't even have Dick Gregory in it.
Well, Dick Gregory was mentioned in one line with Joan Baez, but yeah, I mean, you know. But Greg and I talked about that, and he told me to let it go. So, you know, I have to say for the folks out there, yeah, especially you younger folks, do some research, because we lost a great one this week,
Yes.
Hugh Masekela.
Mm-hmm.
Hugh Masekela was considered the father of jazz in South Africa. He and Brother Greg used to do a lot of stuff behind the scenes to be Mandela.
Yes.
So, you know, I live down here in Orange County, so I'll just tell you a little bit more history that most folks don't know. When Mandela got released from prison, the hardcore, wealthy South Africaners, the number one place they moved to was New Zealand.
Why?
Where's the number two place they moved to?
Probably Australia.
Orange County, California.
No. Oh.
They're down here in Laguna Beach,
Mhm.
Dana Point, Irvine. In fact, I was going to go see Hugh Masekela back in 2012, but I couldn't bring myself to do it because he was opening up his U.S. tour at the Barclay Theater in Irvine. Well, I have a problem with Irvine because I know all about Irvine.
Tell us.
So
Tell
here's
us.
one. So here's one for you folks that you're going to love, especially you young folks. Shortly before Hugh Masekela, because Hugh Masekela started his tour in February of 2012, but shortly before that, a year earlier, when it was Black History Month, the University of California at Irvine, the Anteaters, guess how they celebrated Black History?
How? Oh no, not again. Hello? Oh, this is.
They
This
fucking
is-
with us,
this is
man. They fucking
frustrating.
with us.
Hold on.
They is.
Yeah,
you
I know. It ain't no other choice.
Yeah.
It ain't no other option.
No, but they're not going to stop this.
Yeah, because
They're not gonna
the
stop
first time we had them on, it went
Crystal clear.
No
All the way
phone
through.
interruptions, nothing. You know, they done bugged us, but he said that.
He sure enough said
Yeah,
it.
he warned us. It's all good, you know. We like roaches. You stomp on one, it's 100 more.
Right.
You know.
Now the call's not even going through.
Bombing your house doesn't work, you know. We working on it, folks. Stay patient.
Stay with
The
us.
True Power Minds hotline.
There we go. Finally.
Jeez. Can NSA.
Yo,
We're back again.
That's right.
well, this is gonna happen all day because you gotta get used to this, man. I mean, I'm always getting disconnected when I appear on shows, but as I was saying, here you got a state university in your so-called liberal California, and they're serving fried chicken and watermelon to
Oh.
celebrate Black History Month. Okay.
Oh,
Wow.
this is disgusting. Disgusting.
Oh, and by the way, you do know they had this tall African there who was playing basketball for them. In fact, a couple of years later, that's the first time Irvine ever made it to the
Fried
Sweet
chicken and
16 or whatever in the NCAA.
Mm.
And needless to say, he wasn't conscious at all. So, because I talked to the brother, and he was tall. But anyway, so also, because this is the one you really want to know.
Lay it
There
on
was
us.
a major professor at Irvine named Dr. Henry Ford. No, I'm sorry, not Henry Ford. Oh my God, I can't believe I just forgot his last name. But his name is Ford, and he was also a gynecologist, prominent gynecologist in Irvine. He ended up committing suicide as Irvine police were about to do a raid on his house.
Oh, shit.
When they dug up the backyard, they found all the evidence about him creating an AIDS virus to kill black folks in South Africa.
No way.
Wow.
No,
I'm
I've
not
heard
making
about
this
that
up.
before.
This happened around 2004. But this guy had been working with the South African government to develop an ethno-specific virus that
Yes.
would only kill the black folks.
Yes, I've heard about that.
Me too.
Oh, his name is Larry Ford. So for all you young folks out there who think I'm making this up, you just look up Larry Ford South African virus and see what you come with. Now, I will say this. Believe it or not, there was one news network, well, they won't do it today because things have changed with the media, but at least back in those days, there was one news media outlet that actually did a whole story on Larry Ford, 60 Minutes. So you can actually Google 60 Minutes Larry Ford, and you will come up with a transcript detailing everything I just told you.
Man.
That's Irvine. So anyway, so when Hugh Masekela played in Irvine, I just couldn't go through it. I wish I had now because that was the last time I would have been able to see him alive. Now, for you folks that know that his son is Sal Masekela, he's involved in the surfing community, so I used to run into Sal every once in a while when he was here for major surf contests. But I know he's hurting right now, and I hope that he keeps his father's legacy alive because Hugh Masekela and Dick Gregory passing on last, in the past recent months. That's a major blow to those who were out there that inspired so many of us who were fighting apartheid and the Jim Crow days.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, I go down to Salt Creek. Now, Salt Creek is a beach in Dana Point below the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. And I can go to that beach right now, and I'll have some white Afrikaner walking on the beach looking at me like, what the hell is this Kefir doing on the beach?
Oh, God.
Seriously. So while you think California is liberal, yeah, okay. Just look at those houses that got destroyed in the last few weeks in Montecito where Oprah Winfrey has a home.
Mm.
I go through that neighborhood. Let me just enlighten you folks on who Santa Barbara is. And by the way, Snoop Dogg has a house not too far from there too, right?
Right.
And I went in that neighborhood. The local cops don't even patrol that neighborhood because those rich white folks don't even want the local cops knowing what they're up to.
Fuck it.
So, of course, I drove through there, and they got their little renegades and golf carts and stuff. Who the hell is this damn nigga? And I don't give a damn. So I'm sure they called somebody who ran my license plate, and they're like, just let them go.
Right.
Right.
But I went to that neighborhood. It was cracking me up. But anyway, so I'm telling you, Santa Barbara. Let me just enlighten you on the history of Santa Barbara. Hollywood. Do you even know where that name comes from?
No. Tell us.
Hollywood comes from Merlin magician who used a hollow wood
Yes.
to cast false images.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Well, the original Hollywood was Santa Barbara, California. You talking the wealthy Luciferians who were not in New York City. The ones on the West Coast, they were in Santa Barbara, and they were in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Yes.
And I'm not being flippant when I say wealthy Luciferians. So it didn't surprise me when Oprah got a home there because she's nothing but a new age queen for the white folks. And when
Right.
she stepped out of line saying that OJ didn't get a fair trial, she had to go out on her show on ABC and admit that she used to be a cokehead.
Mm-hmm.
When she stepped out of line again during Obama's first term running for office, she lost a lot of money from her TV show Oath. And if you notice, you didn't see or hear nothing from her when Obama ran for re-election.
No.
No.
She was silent.
Same thing with Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Cosby, when he stepped out of line and said that OJ wasn't getting a fair trial, they killed his son on Mulholland Drive, right up there with a Manson family love dumping body.
Yep.
A Russian immigrant. Go figure.
And then Bill Cosby later on came out telling black folks to pull their pants up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, something else Bill Cosby did to piss him off, he tried to buy a whole lot of major stock in NBC,
Yes.
and they didn't want no Negro having that kind of control over NBC stock, so they had to destroy him. And that's when they came out and talked about his illegitimate child and everything else.
Yeah.
But what was the deal with Bill Cosby? How come he really didn't do more to kind of uplift the people?
Oh, he did. Well, I'm telling you, dude, brother, listen to me. The boy is a boule, first of all, okay? So he's doing what the house Negroes do.
Okay.
Secondly, when he did his show I Spy, what was he?
He was
You
a
have two
spy.
tennis players, and I've met Robert Culp. You have two tennis, and it's funny because a close friend of mine who owns a restaurant, she knows Bill Cosby. But anyway, when the two were tennis players traveling the world, they were actually working for CIA. But even in that show, what was he? He was the ball boy for the white boy.
Oh shit.
I'm just telling you, that was his role. And so Steve Cookley and I, we did a show together back in the 90s because currently, I didn't see the show, but Steve saw a remake of I Spy on NBC. And at the end of the show, to get into the CIA headquarters, they used the word boule.
Wow.
That was the password. To
The
open
boule
door.
was the password.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm serious.
You can't
So
make
anyway,
this
so Bill
up.
Cosby,
No.
what happened was he tried to reshape his image, and once he got spanked, if you notice, he did a show for half a season on CBS, and it said that whole season when they were advertising CBS in the fall, it goes, "Come home to CBS." Well, they putting that out there about Cosby because the show didn't last long.
Right.
Because everybody was tired of that no-toe show of him with, the Huxtables. The
Right.
color folks don't live like this. See, that was a show that white folks felt very comfortable and safe with. Those
Yes.
were good niggas.
Yep.
Right.
They didn't pose no threat to you didn't hear them ever talk about anything of any black issue on that show.
No.
Nope. Didn't.
And now it's sad because, you get all the Huxtables now, the boule type living down, and then, of course, that was loosely based on Spelman College. I was actually engaged to be married to the niece of the guy who founded Spelman College. So I know all about the boule down in the Atlanta and South Carolina area. And I don't watch television, like I said before, so I was at a Chinese restaurant a couple of weeks ago, and that's the only time I watch TV is when I see it on the screen on the wall, and for the first time I saw The Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Wow.
Oh boy.
And I'm like, now I realize why we're so confused. First of all, why is any black woman with collagen in her lips?
Right.
And every female that was on that show, except for the one token white female friend, they all had blonde hair.
Oh wow.
Yep.
This is that self-hatred that we have. See what I'm talking about? What's so funny is white folks are always trying to look like we do,
And we're trying to look like them.
and we're trying to look like they are.
You know, Mark-
This is how confused our whole society is, brothers.
Can you
Without too much psychobabbling, there's a lot of self-hatred going on out there.
Yep.
It is.
can you explain what the boule is to the
Well, hang on before the boule, so that finish answering the question about that show. I can't talk about a show I haven't seen, but when it comes to billionaires in this country, they started programming the mass population back in the late 70s, early 80s with lives of the rich and famous. This is what you want to emulate. This is what you want to be like.
Dynasty.
Meanwhile, in the churches, they were teaching this BS
Yep.
prosperity Christianity.
Oh shit. 2 punch. Boom boom.
Mm-hmm.
Boom.
And I'm sorry, did you say Tupac?
Yeah, it's like boom with
Two
idolizing
punch,
the
not
rich,
2 punch.
and then boom idolizing being a part of
Is
the
Tupac dead?
team. With the prosperity deal, it's like 2
Tupac
punch.
dead?
Is Tupac dead?
Yeah.
I don't think no.
All
Did they
right.
have a funeral for him?
No.
Now, do you think with all his fans, they would cremate his body overnight?
No.
Where's his aunt?
In Cuba?
And that's why here he is. And do
Exactly.
you know, I said this on a telephone conversation, and do you know the next day the FBI put out another $1 million reminder that his aunt is wanted for murders in New Jersey?
No.
In this, his.
Hi, guys. Because you guys didn't even say anything to the famous but incompetent listening to this phone call. Oh, yeah, you guys know that is FBI, but we call them famous but incompetent.
Well, they're more than welcome to enjoy the show.
But I'm sorry, I got distracted here. I digress. So anyway, so getting back to the billionaire. So they program you already to emulate the wealthy.
Yes.
Now, I want to tell you straight out. It's very difficult to become wealthy without doing something illegal, unethical, or immoral.
Mm.
So while we idolize and emulate and worship these folks, we will allow a guy like Donald Trump to say or do what he wants, because guess what? Deep down inside, many people in this country want to be just like Donald Trump.
Yep.
Wow.
It
I
is.
can be white, say what the hell I want. And it's for you brothers out there listening to this, because it's got the younger crowd. Anybody who tells you there's no such thing as white privilege, just remind them. If Obama's wife had naked photographs on the internet, he would have never been president.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
See, I look at the obvious stuff. And I don't know if I told you this the last time, but I was a member, well, I guess you, once you remember. But I'm a member of International Who's Who. And do you know who sponsored me in the International Who's Who?
Ivana Trump.
So when I tell you folks this stuff, I know who these people are. I've been watching and studying these people for years. And one of the biggest lies I keep hearing repeated over and over and over again. Well, nobody ever called Donald Trump a racist till he ran for president.
Oh.
Then why does he have a 2-page ad in the 1971 New York Times where he had to apologize for not letting Negroes rent from any of his apartments?
Yep.
Right.
Wow.
Okay? I mean, so seriously. And so here's the problem, because we live in a society today where if you really study Hitler, and God knows I studied Hitler since most of my mentors were World War II Nazis and OSS guys, the more you repeat a lie, the more it becomes the truth.
Yes.
The bigger the lie, the more people believe it.
Yep.
And so when they keep repeating this lie over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, saying he was never called a racist until he ran for office, then people ignore all the information that's out there.
Right.
Now, Comey, let's take Comey for example. Comey's FBI. How did Donald Trump make most of his money before you heard of him?
Real estate, gambling.
See, everybody says real estate. Come on, guys.
Gambling.
What kind of real estate did he own in recent years?
Mm.
No.
Gambling casinos.
Yep.
Well, let me ask you this. Who brought gambling to Las Vegas?
The mob.
So then who is he connected to?
The mob.
So why doesn't people just look at the obvious? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
All right. So having said what I just said, I'm going to ask you gentlemen this. Now, I know there's some guy on that show with the initials PW, so he might know this because he stalks me on Facebook. But are you all aware of the fact that the NRA gave something like $70 million to the Trump campaign and ads and support during the election year?
Mm-hmm.
You all aware of that?
Yep.
Do you know where they got the money from?
Casinos and the mob.
A Russian banker who has close ties to Putin and the Russian mob.
Wow.
Do you hear anything about this in the news?
No.
And
So
you're not.
that makes sense why, like I was talking to my father, that they don't want.
So you're already
everybody's
ahead of the
stuff coming
curve.
out.
You still talk to your father.
They don't want a lot of stuff coming out with Russia because they're included with that.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not so hastily to figure out because
Remember we was talking. I said, remember we was just having like a little private conversation. I said that the only thing they gonna probably dig up on Trump with Russia is some shady business deals,
Yep.
because they all intertwined together.
Right.
Right. So when the caller or the listener asked about the show with the billionaires, I have not seen that show, but what I will tell you is this. If they're billionaires, then they're dirty as hell. But
Yes.
that's how you get there. So I'm just telling you, that's how you get there. And that show is designed for certain people who have sold their souls. And if you want an idea what I'm talking about, just look at the movie The Ninth Gate with Johnny Depp, or look at the movie Eyes Wide Shut with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. Because those two movies show you how they sell their souls for fame, fortune, and power.
yeah,
And going back to Hollywood, the movie Eyes Wide Shut, they even show you in that movie the folks who are in Hollywood and why they're the powerful ones in Hollywood. So all this crap about Harvey Weinstein, everybody knows about the director's couch. That's nothing new. So Harvey Weinstein pissed them off with that movie American Made.
Yeah.
Then you look at Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey pissed him off with the 5th season of House of Cards, which even shows you the Bohemian Grove. And then in the 5th season of House of Cards, Kevin Spacey, who's the president of the United States, goes, the White House is not where the power is. I need to go back into the business world with those guys back. Now, they don't use the term Bohemian Grove. They use a different name, but you can clearly tell it's the Bohemian Grove. Oh, and by the way, where's the Bohemian Grove located?
San Francisco, California.
Oh, liberal California.
Yes.
Mhm.
Worshiping
Now,
the
if you
owl.
want to see the Bohemian Grove on an international level, where is Donald Trump this week?
Switzerland.
Not just Switzerland. Where is he?
Don't know. Mark, tell us.
Davos, Switzerland. Do you know anything about Davos, Switzerland?
No.
No, enlighten us,
That's
please.
the major players in the New World Order, the wealthy of the wealthy of the wealthy, the old European blood money. And just to give you an idea what I'm talking about, membership in that club usually starts off at $17,000 just to get an invitation. And Donald Trump, let me put it this way. No U.S. president has been there in 17 years. And the only reason Donald Trump is there is because Macron out of France, and well, I got some close ties to France. In fact, my favorite surfer right now, coaching is from a French territory. But Macron is the one who invited Trump, or he wouldn't have been there. Now Trump feels like he's one of the players, and Trump has already realized who the real power is, because he's going to do something that you have never seen or heard Trump do before. In a couple of weeks, Trump's going to publicly apologize for having shown those videos of those far right-wing neo-Nazis out of Europe on videos back in November of last year. And Trump doesn't apologize for anything, but see, Trump now has faced the real power. And he's already agreed. He's already done a television show in Great Britain that's not aired yet. And he's already agreed that he's going to apologize for having shown those videos. Now, he claimed he didn't know they were neo-Nazis, but, doesn't matter. The point is, Donald Trump has never asked God for forgiveness, and Donald Trump has never apologized. He saw the real power this week. He's apologizing. So for you folks out there who don't know what I'm talking about, just Google that one. Donald Trump plans to apologize. Because once again, what I share, most people never hear.
Early warning.
Guy
So
that-
I hope that answered the question for that person with the billionaires. But here's the problem with the billionaires. In the U.S., they had to usurp people from doing good for the community.
Right.
So you started injecting religion into the Republican Party, pretending to be Christians when you're really not. And this Christianity was to equate those who with money and wealth as doing God's will.
Yes.
And so by 1980, they basically started hijacking. Up until that time, most so-called evangelicals and Christians had nothing to do with politics. But when Reagan ran for office, that's when they started injecting it and trying to say that Jimmy Carter was going to bring homosexuality and the gays, blah, 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 blah. And then they ramped it up. Now, of course, George Herbert Walker Bush, Daddy Bush, he's not a conservative, but he didn't really go along with them, and they punished him, so he only got one term in office.
Yes.
But after they brought in Clinton, who shows how immoral he was by, Monica Lewinsky playing the bird swallow in the White House.
Yes.
So, and it's nothing. See, while people sit there talking about Monica Lewinsky, especially within the Republican Party, they're all sleeping with teenage male pages up there.
Oh,
There are all kinds of scandals of male pages. And see, that's those log cabin boys I told you about that got the don't have their own child repealed. Because they bring them in at 14, 15 years old from Boise State, and then they make them pages at the White House, grooming them for better jobs later on.
Ugh.
And these old white boys are plying those little boys who come back later on as politicians and join the log cabin boys because they turn these little boys out. These boys weren't gay before they went to D.C. as pages, and some old white guy sodomized them.
Oh. You know, that's...
I wish I was making this up.
I wish
So
you
anyway,
was too.
Getting back to what I was saying about the billionaire TV show, so when you have folks who are being in positions of high places who emulate more and more and more and more, and here's the problem. I just told you, Trump, gambling casino.
Yes.
The number one addiction in this country right now is gambling. And these folks are compulsive gamblers and they can't get enough. It's an addiction. They can't get enough and they will never stop. And that's why the United States is destined to go down. Because Wall Street now is nothing but a super Ponzi scheme. All this tax cut money that Trump claims that he's brought back to the community, what they're doing is they're going to bring the jobs back because they're going to replace human beings with robots and artificial intelligence.
Yes. Yes.
So when they get a tax cut, they don't hire new employees. You only hire a new employee if you have more demands for your goods or services.
Yes.
What these people are doing is taking the tax cuts and buying up their own stock on the stock market, which makes fewer stocks available, which causes the value of that stock to go higher.
Yes.
It's a Ponzi scheme. And just like in 1920, the wealthy, the blue chip stockholders, they can afford to lose a couple $100 million. And they're going to bring the whole system down, buy up all the stocks, and own it all, just like they did in the 1920s. And that's where we're headed right now, because we got three major bubbles. The Silicon Valley tech bubble, the student loan bubble,
Yes.
and the housing bubble, because folks haven't learned a damn thing about, instead of buying a house to live in, they're buying a house to flip it.
Yes.
And since I mentioned algorithms earlier, you used to have corrupt individuals, so I highly recommend folks out there see the movie Inside Job. That movie tells you, not only tells you, it interviews the players involved with bringing down the system. The worst part is most of these corrupt people on Wall Street have been replaced by computers with algorithms that are doing the same corrupt transactions, only far more quickly and far more transactions. And the house of cards is coming down, folks.
Man.
So start getting your house in order.
Yes.
Stop disrespecting your family and friends. Stop putting all your business out there on social network sites.
Yes.
Get yourself a bug-out bag.
Yes.
You should have enough food supply and waters for a minimum in your house for 10 days. You should have an emergency bag that you carry to keep in the car or your trunk. Because a couple weekends ago when they had that false alarm in Hawaii, and I talked to some of my female surface parents, you had children that would be putting down in the sewer system because they thought they were getting attacked by a nuclear bomb.
Right.
Well, if they had a bug-out bag to put with that child, they would have felt a lot better.
Now, do you have a source, Mark, where people can buy iodine? Or do you know any, places where people can really buy?
Now, wait a minute, stop. First of all, what would make you think I would know anything about iodine? And why would you even ask that question in response to what I just said?
Because I'm a prepper. I believe in preparing for all contingencies. I know
you
that
ain't
you're
telling everybody everything. What for the listeners out there, what the brother ain't telling you is iodine is one of the things you use to treat people with radiation poisoning.
Yes.
Now, why would I know that?
I think we know why.
So what was behind the alarm in Hawaii with the?
Well, what do you want to know? I'm drunk enough now. Go ahead.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I like I said, I've heard that an actual missile was shot out of the sky by U.S. missile defense. Is that correct?
Okay. So, what's the weather like out there in Michigan today?
Or Missouri, it's
In
not so
Missouri.
bad. It's a little now maybe
You're in
like,
Missouri?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I thought you said Michigan.
Yeah.
Haven't you ever seen the movie Harry Met Sally? Yeah, come on, dudes. I was educated by white folks. Harry Met Sally, he never admitted to making a mistake. When somebody corrected him, he goes, "That's what I said." And dude, trust me, that shit works, dude. I'll be in a conversation with somebody, I go, "That's what I said." They go, "Oh, well, maybe I heard it wrong." Oh, yeah. No, everybody talks about Harry Met Sally because in that movie, Meg Ryan is like, "Oh, oh, oh." And some other woman at another table goes, "I don't know what they're eating, but I want some of that." She's taking an orgasm, but her whole point was she's telling him, "Yeah, women can fake orgasms all the time." So, by the way, I know I'm digressing, but I just want to tip the folks over on survival. So let me just give you a little tip here. I was married to a woman once who told me, "Yeah, you know all those orgasms I had, I faked them." I go, "That's okay, because I wasn't faking mine." Anyway, so getting back to to answer the question, I don't know about that. What I will just tell you this, because what I'm telling you, I've shared before, so I don't care. Back in the early '90s, there was a movie came out with Sean Connery called Hunt for Red October.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in that movie, it shows the U.S. submarine tracking a Russian sub.
Right.
But I was told that movie was actually about Office of Naval Intelligence trying to track a whole bunch of renegade CIA guys who had their own sub, and they were going to do something to cause Clinton to go to war.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't be
You
surprised.
following me here?
We following
Yes.
you.
Yes.
So, when Trump was running for office, I posted on Facebook, I said, I haven't seen this since the 90s. There's a major war going on within the spook community. In fact, 40 of the top intelligence personnel in the U.S. who are all registered Republicans, guess who they endorse?
Trump.
Hillary Clinton.
Mm.
In fact, I met with one of them, Michael Hayden. Michael Hayden was both CIA director and NSA director. Even Michael Hayden came out and endorsed Hillary Clinton. He is no liberal, and he ain't no Democrat. There's a major war going on within the intelligence community. So what I can only tell you is this, and I got to be careful how I answer this.
Very careful.
Word it carefully.
I don't think there was any missile launched. However, there's the possibility that just like with Hunt for Red October, there was one sub had to find another sub before that sub made it look like Korea had launched a missile on Hawaii.
Then it's game on.
And that's all I will say on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would just say this much. There were military personnel that had been alerted early in the morning, long before that announcement went out over state public airwaves.
Yeah, and let's get it straight, folks.
Right.
It takes more than one guy in some office pressing one button on the keyboard to get that message out.
It's not a button, but I can't go further into that either.
Right. And let's not, because we have to ensure the security of our nation and secure that our secrets are secret.
Well, I do want to get home tonight.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, unmolested. Oh, you look like Dimebag Darling. We're going to take your ass over here and do what we will.
You know it.
So I hope that helps to answer the question.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Mark, real quick.
Oh, and by the way, you should know that less than a week later, there was a similar incident in Japan.
Yeah, I heard
Yes,
about
it
that
was.
too. Yep, the same thing.
Yes, it was.
I got a question. For you, Mark.
And I should just finish this. I think that last time I came on your show, I told you I don't recognize North Korea or South Korea. There's only
One Korea. One.
And if you notice now, the U.S. is worried because North Korea and South Korea are going to have their members on the same teams during the Olympics.
Yes.
Right.
The last thing the U.S. would want, or Europe would want, is a unified Korea.
Why?
Right.
Guess who's going to have to leave the country if that happens?
Who?
The U.S.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, because they're in South Korea, right?
But we didn't leave Germany. Germany was reunited. We still have bases over there.
Okay, you're talking about Germany. The difference between Germany Germany, half of Germany was occupied by the Soviet Union.
Yes.
Half of Korea is occupied by Koreans.
True. True. Now
You're
foreign
comparing
power.
apples to oranges. It's like Vietnam. All Ho Chi Minh wanted was one Vietnam. What do they have today?
One Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
So go see the movie The Post with Meryl Streep. Because that movie clearly tells you what I've been telling folks for years. They knew in 1965 that the U.S. could not win that war. But they continued that war, killing 58,000 Americans because they didn't want to lose face back here in the U.S.
Yep. A lot of people got rich off of that too.
Well, let me ask you this. You've heard of Agent Orange.
Yes.
Well, Agent Orange is a defoilant. It causes the shrubbery to die. But have you heard of Agent Blue?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. Enlighten us,
Exactly.
please.
Agent Blue destroys the soil. When the U.S. went into Vietnam, guess who was the world's largest supplier of rice?
Vietnam.
Guess where they get their rice from now?
Probably us.
United States.
Mm.
California. Because California is the biggest agricultural state on the planet.
Yes. Used to be the
Yeah.
fifth largest economy in the world.
I think it's like the ninth now.
No, we're number 7 right now.
Oh,
But
okay.
that changes every day based on BRICS and the value of the dollar.
Oh.
So, when you look at what's going on with oil, because the brother mentioned very early on OPEC. Here's the meaning to my madness. I always come back to things. How long has the U.S. been a member of OPEC?
Not 1 year. We've never been a member.
Very good, because the average American thinks that we are. Who runs OPEC?
The Middle East, Saudi Arabia, or
Egypt, Libya.
No, you said it already, the Saudis.
Right.
Yeah, that's the largest.
Well, guess what? The day of the Saudis running the U.S. and manipulating the U.S. are coming to an end.
Yes.
And pretty soon, the U.S. is going to be the one who has the largest supply of oil. Because, see, we've been using everybody else's oil and not using our own.
Right.
I could take you right here to Bakersfield, California, if you think California is liberal. You wouldn't go be driving around Bakersfield at night. Anyway, so I'm just telling you the way it is, man.
Right.
So Bakersfield by itself, in the mountains, look on a map of Bakersfield, California, you'll see it says U.S. Navy Oil Reserve. Now, this is just in that one mountain area of Bakersfield. There's enough oil in that one mountain to sustain U.S. way of life for 7 years without getting a drop of oil from any place else.
Wow. Man. Wow.
Right now, and go back and look at the movie Hackers, back when Angelina Jolie was actually good looking before she decided to make herself look like a cretin, trying to be who she's not. But when Angelina Jolie was smoking hot and was sleeping with her stepdad, she was in the movie Hacker. Even in that movie Hacker that's more than 20 years old, they were showing you how they had computers that kept all the ships offshore, and they only brought those ships ashore when the prices were too high for the average person to buy oil.
Mm-hmm.
We're not in a shortage of oil. I can take you to Long Beach right now, and you can find between San Pedro and Long Beach, L.A., 20 oil ships just sitting off the coast doing nothing.
Just wait.
Oil tankers, super tankers.
Mm.
So what the U.S. is doing is using up the world's supply of oil, and so guess who's the only one that has it?
Us.
We.
Yep.
United
We
States.
And that's how they operate. And that's what's going on. So when folks want to talk about solar energy, it's
Yes.
no accident that Donald Trump just passed a new tariff law that's going to hurt the solar energy, and especially here in California. Because the guys in fossil fuel ain't ready to give it up yet.
Right.
And when we do go to solar energy, it'll be because the fossil fuel industry is the ones who control that industry also.
Yep.
So, nobody's talked about the S-hole comment.
Oh.
The shithole?
No, he said it supposedly says shit house.
Right.
Oh,
supposedly.
shit house.
Before we go into that, we've been at an hour. You good on time?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry?
We've been on for about an hour so far. Are you good with the time?
What do you mean about good with the time?
Well,
You're
I
on
don't.
CPT, right?
Yes. Yes, we
Yeah,
are.
okay then. Okay.
Dude, I'm retired, man.
Okay.
If I wasn't good with the time, I wouldn't answer the phone.
All right. That works.
And we appreciate you answering.
Yes, we do.
Now,
I
enlighten us
got,
about the
plenty of, I
shithole.
got plenty of booze here. I ain't running up. So anyway, now that you distracted me, Rose. Oh, S-hole. Now, you do realize, as I'm talking to you right now, Trump is over there with Rwanda and a bunch of other African leaders, right?
Yes.
Right.
Now, what are these African leaders going to do about Trump's asshole comments?
Hopefully, or not hopefully, but I pray they don't poison his food.
They ain't doing a damn thing. And
No.
why would they do a damn thing?
No, they already probably knew he was gonna say it in the first place.
Right. Well,
In
no, all of them been
1994
installed by Europeans.
1994, I did a radio show with Carl Nelson here in L.A., and I was looking at one of my maps provided to me by one of the alphabet agencies. And I looked at my map in the 1994 map. I go, you know, I'm here looking at a 1994 map of Africa. And I know this is going to hurt the listeners' feelings because you're all talking about this Africa, that. I go, I challenge y'all to name me one leader of an African country that was not put in the power by Europe or the United States.
Right.
In fact, in Rwanda, the two brothers who were strong, the Hutus and the Tutsis, were going to merge together, and they both got killed mysteriously when they were riding on the same airplane coming back from the peace conference.
You see how it seemed like that stuff like that always
I'm sorry,
seems
but
to
I have to
happen.
correct myself. The Hutus and the Tutsis. And then all of a sudden, 1 million people died in Rwanda, and the Clinton administration didn't do crap.
No, they did not.
And then, I don't go to places like Starbucks and all these white European elitist coffee shops. While they sit there talking about peace, love, when's the last time you seen a commercial for Juan Valdez Colombian coffee?
Long ass time.
Because they're getting their coffee from Africa. And Rwanda, that was their number one export after that 1 million people died and the two leaders got killed.
Coffee beans.
And that's all over Africa. So, having said what I just said, since I did refer to the green economy and green industry, what's the plan when it comes to fossil fuel vehicles in this country?
They should be phased out.
And phase out to what?
Electric.
Well, let me just enlighten you, brothers. 90% of all the cobalt, which is required for electric cars, comes out of one country in not South Africa, but in Africa. And if they want to shut the Europeans and America down, they could shut them down tomorrow, and you ain't seen them doing a damn thing about it.
What's the name of that country?
You talked about this on the last time you was on the show.
That's right. So I ain't gonna tell you again. You guys got homework. Just put out cobalt.
That's
Number one producer of cobalt, and you will see a small African country using 10, 11, 12-year-old black youth to mine the stuff
No.
for European. Oh, and by the way, since you mentioned this earlier about BRICS, guess what member of BRICS is getting that 90% of the cobalt before the U.S. even is allowed to buy it?
South Africa.
Close.
Which one?
You got 4 more left.
I'll say China.
China.
No way.
That one stuff, because China is buying up Africa, the continent of Africa, like you cannot imagine. See, let me just make this simple. We talked about the mob earlier. We talked about the Russian mob. We talked about the Italian. Well, actually, most of the Italian mob is not Italian. They're actually Sicilian. And you know why the Sicilians are hated, right?
Right. Because they're black.
And why are they black?
Because the when they came up there during the ancient times, they kicked their ass on their way to Rome.
Because the Moors raped all their women. So Sicilians are considered niggas in Italy.
Yes.
Okay, anyway. So, when you look at what's going on, China, the triad. Are you guys familiar with the triad?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the triad has been around for centuries before there was any Italian mob, Jewish mob, or anybody else. Okay? These guys are the masters when it comes to organized crime. And there is no difference between organized crime and corporations in their world.
Wow.
That's just the way they do business. Another old, not as old as the Chinese, but I'll tell you somebody else who's like that. In Japan, it's called a zaibatsu.
What about the Yakuza?
The Yakuza are just pussies, dude. The Yakuza is like talking about skinheads. You can talk about the Nazis, or you can talk about the skinheads.
Gotcha.
The skinheads are the foot soldiers doing the job for the Nazis, because the Nazis live behind closed doors in wealthy neighborhoods and don't want to get their hands dirty.
Right.
The Yakuza is the same thing. The Yakuza are the street gangs who do the job for the zaibatsu. Nobody messes with the zaibatsu. Have you even heard of the zaibatsu?
No, sir.
There you go. And I'll just tell you this: we bombed Hiroshima, we bombed Nagasaki, and MacArthur was the governor. So anything you see Japan do today, we allowed them to do it because we ran that country after that war.
Yes, we did.
And the Zaibatsu was supposed to be abolished, and then somebody said, "Whoa, wait a minute here, we might be able to use them." So you folks out there, if you want to know what I'm talking about, Zaibatsu, Z as in zoo, A-I, B as in boy, A-T as in Tom, S-U, Zaibatsu. Nobody fucks with the Zaibatsu, and nobody fucks with the triad.
Right.
That's the old money. Why do I know this? I was a member of the Asia Society. I have lots of folks in the Japanese, Taiwanese, Chinese community. By the way, you say Taiwan. It wasn't even Taiwan before Nixon became president. You know what that country was before?
It was part of China.
Formosa.
Formosa.
It was not a part of China. But because we started kissing China's ass during the Nixon years, we were no longer allowed to call them Formosa, and they were forced to change their name to Taiwan.
Wow.
And that's when Nixon took us off the gold standard. And China started buying up our gold at $35 an ounce. So the U.S. dollar today that you see printed, which is not a Federal Reserve note, is not even worth the paper it's printed on.
Wow.
Damn.
Meanwhile, during that time when Nixon was in the White House, George Herbert Walker Bush was the ambassador to China.
Was he?
And so when Tiananmen Square happened, I knew Bush wasn't going to do anything because his brother, and also his uncle, owned 7 golf courses in China during that time.
Wow. They let that man get run over damn near.
Right.
Yeah, I wonder how much money I could make if I was sitting in some college class teaching this right now.
Oh, you'll be rich beyond you believe.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I wouldn't be able to teach this in class, so I wouldn't be making anything. Because I'm telling the truth.
You know,
But like I said, we have the internet today, so you guys look that up. Formosa, Formosa. By the way, I still piss off a lot of Chinese because I do it on purpose. I go, yeah, I should go visit Formosa. But they get pissed off when I say that.
Formosa. You know, can you tell us a little bit about your near-death experience?
Yeah, I nearly died.
Yeah, but can you tell us, like, kind of in depth, like,
No, okay, I'll tell you about 2 of them. I had 2 already.
Okay.
When I was living in Jim Crow, rural South Carolina, okay, Negroes weren't allowed to go to the beach, and we damn sure didn't have no public pools. That's why I'm so successful with my female surfers, because most of my female surfers were probably all of them are white females. And when they come out the water crying, I coach girls 12 to 17 primarily. I got a few older ones, but mostly 12 to 17. I can't do this. Like, the hell are you talking about? And I look at the parents on the beach and go, this is where you take a walk. And the parents look at me and go, okay, honey. This is usually the mom. Honey, let's go take a walk. And the dad's like, honey, let's go take a walk. So I'm looking at the little white girl. I go, what's your problem? I can't do this. I go, let me ask you a question. How long have you been going to the beach? Since I was a baby? Well, let me look at me when I talk to you, white girl. Up until 1975, I couldn't even go to a public beach in South Carolina because niggers weren't allowed. And in 1978, I was a part of my college surfing club. So take your little white ass back in that water and bring me back a trophy. Okay. See, white coaches can't tell that to their damn surfers because that's not a reality they have. When these little white girls realize what I've gone through and it wasn't that long ago, then they start believing in themselves.
Yes.
Right.
Okay? So having not been able to go to beaches and pools, in 1971 I left Johns Island, South Carolina. I went to live with some relatives in Quantico, Virginia, Marine Corps base where officers are trained, right outside of Washington, D.C. So I'm in school in Quantico. By the way, this is the first time I'm seeing blacks and whites in the same school together. Even though the law was already on the books, South Carolina didn't integrate their schools till 71. But my point is, so, excuse me. I'm at one of the base pools, and all these little white boys and girls who I went to school with, they all jumping in the pool like a dumbass. What do? I follow and jump in right behind them. Well, nigger can't swim. So I drowned. And when I drowned, I had that near-death experience where I had the out-of-body experience. I was actually up in the air looking down on myself being surrounded by four walls of water, and as the four walls kept closing in, right before it was finished, I came back to life because this Marine who was a lifeguard at the base pool. It was a staff NCO pool above Butler Stadium in Virginia. He brought me back to life. And my life was never the same after that. I'll just put it this way. See, it's frustrating for me because I see things that I just assume everybody else can see clear as day, and apparently other people can. I can connect dots that other people seem not to be able to. And then in 2005, I can say this now because I don't give a shit. No, I'm done. 2005, I got jumped by a bunch of 7 skinheads, and I died that night too.
What did they do to you, these savages?
I'm sorry?
What did they do to you?
What do you mean?
I mean, did they like bust you on the head or stab you or?
Yeah, oh yeah. In fact, I ended up having a broken nose, dislocated jaw. Now here's the weird thing. It was one of those things where you got attacked, but you died later kind of thing, because I was driving on the way home and died on the way home.
Oh, God.
Like I tell you, dude, that divine, I can tell you this, I can go through the divine adventure, dude. My truck hit a guardrail, which should have sent me over the side, and they would have just said, oh, he's been drinking, he died.
Right.
But instead, my truck hit a guardrail, brought me back on the highway, that woke me up long enough to make it home. I refuse to have the truck fixed because I still have the guardrail. Oh, and it's weird too because there's no damage at the guardrail and there's no really, it's just minor damage on the truck itself kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think when I came back from that out of body experience, it was like 2 days later. And here's the funny thing: I was working for LAPD at the time. So when I went to the hospital, I was off duty, so I went to a hospital, and because I was so beaten up so badly. If you don't know this, when you're attacked, whether it's physical force, knife, stabbing, or gunshot, hospital emergency rooms are required to notify the local police department. So I go to this one hospital and they say, well, we got to call the cops. I go, no, you don't need to do that. And they go, oh, I'm a cop. I already made a report. So I lied about it, but yeah, they bought it because I was a cop. So I had them pack me up. I went back home, and being the fact that I was a protege of OSS and World War II Nazis, while most people go to hospitals, I did a lot of mind control. So in 48 hours, I went from being this bloody pope to going back to work, and nobody even knew I was attacked.
Wow.
True story.
No, I mean, we just had
what
a
happened was I
show.
had gone to a honky-tonk bar and a bunch of skinheads. There was this honky-tonk bar that played different venues on different nights. One night it might be honky-tonk, but the next night it might be salsa, and then another night it's all the grunge, heavy metal, skin music. Well, all these skins and heavy metal guys had gone there the night before, and they just thought that the club was like that every night. But the night they came in there was country, and they weren't country. They might be assholes and rednecks, but they weren't country.
Right.
There's a big difference, my wife would say, there's a big difference between a Klan and a Nazi. So there has been a murder to some of them, but mostly Klan is white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, where Nazis are usually Catholic.
Right.
Anyway, so these guys came in the club and they started sexually assaulting women in the club. So a lot of the white girls who were in this club asked me to come help them out, and so I had these guys 86 from the club. And then the following night I was at another honky-tonk. They recognized me, and so they waited for me when I left and jumped.
Wow. Man, I'm so thankful
good.
that
I'm still here.
fucking shit did not work.
By the way, I had somebody take some photographs of me. I don't publish them, but yeah, it's pretty nasty.
I will say this
but
one thing.
What was wild was people freaked out because 2 days later I was back at work at LAPD and nobody knew why, because there was no evidence that I had been jumped. But that I had to really tap into that mind control that the Nazis had taught me. I used a lot of energy on that one.
Can you tell the listeners some of the Facebook pages, Sepulchre, and some of the other Facebook pages, because some of your pictures are truly amazing, dude. I've checked.
Oh, what you talking about? I'm not on Facebook. I've never been on Facebook.
Well, I seen some pictures of
You
you.
got me confused with somebody else. I know we all look alike, but you got me confused with somebody else, man. Well, first and foremost, if the listeners out there want to get in touch with me, okay, I run a site on Facebook that's called Mark from Anaheim, Political Sarcasm 101. Now that's a Facebook fan page, even though there's a group site. I moved from the group site years ago. Now, you have to tell me how well this is coming in, because I'm getting major feedback.
Oh, we're good on our side. We hear you really good.
Okay, I just had to make sure. So anyway, but I think what the brother's alluding to, I deal with history,
Yes.
not his story. So one of the Facebook group sites that I run is called Sepia Legacy. History rather than his story.
Mm-hmm.
And I put out history out there that folks, they think you know black history, but you don't. And it's sad because many who look just as we do are disseminating misinformation and disinformation. So when black folks are telling white folks the wrong history, why would white folks not go out and repeat it? The sad thing about that Sepia Legacy site, I have 4 more white folks that follow me than black folks.
Yes.
And your shit should be in every college, every civic class, everything.
Oh, please.
It
I was
should
one
be.
of the first people to put up money for that black African-American museum for the Smithsonian. I didn't get invited to their opening gala because they don't want to bring in the boule and house Negroes that are in Hollywood and everything else. Plus, they're not going to like me anyway because I tell folks that Rosa Parks is not the godmother of the civil rights movement.
Septica Clark.
Yeah. So, when I'm telling folks real history, they don't want me, they don't want folks like me there. They don't have no problem asking me for money, but they don't want me there to, stir the pot.
No. And you do stir the pot. I will say that.
Yeah, he does.
Well, like I said before, there are folks who despise and hate me, but they will read everything I share because they know I'm not lying.
Right. We all seek the truth, man.
That's right.
We all seek it. And you got it. And that's why, I do understand you're doing something great on a personal, individual level with all those girls out there surfing. But you're also doing something great on a massive level by coming on to shows like this and speaking
I
the
just want you
truth.
to know something. I shouldn't be on the show. I promise not to be on the show or any other show after 45 swore in. And then you guys did a real bad thing last year. You allowed Dick Gregory to die, so now out of respect for Dick Gregory, I'm on this show today.
Right.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Dick Gregory.
And the sad thing is,
Thank
Brother
you.
Greg, you know why he died? Bacterial infection inside the hospital. That's why I don't go to the hospital.
Yes.
Yep.
That's where all the germs are.
Yeah.
Yep. In the,
And
in
I've
the
never had
storage
the flu.
room.
I've never had the flu except the one time I took a flu shot back in 1982 because the Marine Corps made me take it in Quantico, Virginia.
Now, do you have any knowledge about the flu vaccination at all?
Well, what do you want to know? First of all, the flu vaccination is the virus from last year. It's already mutated before you even take it.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. But
Yep.
is there any,
And there was an
sinister...
LAPD cop who just died about a day ago. He's retired now, but he was well known, well liked in LAPD. Guess what he died from?
The flu.
Complications from the flu shot.
Wow.
Now, what about I seen some they was talking about they had like a shot for pneumonia now.
Yeah, right. Back in the day, back in the early 80s, let me rephrase that. Back in the early 90s, there was a brother, and he's dead because he allowed himself to be consumed by the fact that nobody was listening to what he was trying to tell them, and he got overwhelmed, and he just self-destructed. His name is Zears Miles. Zears, Z as in Zears Miles. Zears Miles was the first one who came out and said that the AIDS virus was possibly ethno-specific laboratory experiment.
Wow.
He was way ahead of his time. But Sears was a master at research, and this is before the internet, but he was a master at research when it comes to immunology, viruses, vaccines, etc. And sadly, he died in his apartment alone. He just self-destructed because as time went on and the propaganda was out there, people weren't really listening to him, weren't giving him any avenue to put his information out. But why am I saying all this? Who was the poster boy for AIDS in the NBA? Nothing but Africans. Who was the poster boy?
That was Magic
Magic
Johnson.
Well, let me just tell you why he's still alive. Magic was listening to us doing radio shows with Carl Nelson out here on Stevie Wonder Station back in the 90s. So, a guy, Brother Tariq, who's in the Freshwater, Zeres Miles, Steve Coakley, and I, we would come on the show and we told Magic Johnson, don't take the AZT.
Mm-hmm.
See, the plan was for Magic Johnson to die. These white folks wanted Magic Johnson to be the poster boy so they can get far more money for AIDS research and all this crap, you know. So we told Magic Johnson, don't take the AZT because AZT starves the bone marrow. You starve the bone marrow, the white blood cells are not being reproduced to protect the body, and that's why most people who took AZT when they had AIDS end up dying from pneumonia.
Wow.
Mm. Yeah,
And so Magic Johnson actually listened to us on the show. He would never call in, but we knew he was listening to the show. And
Right.
There were some brothers who behind the scene was there to help Magic not take the AZT. And Magic is still alive and doing fine today. You know, and they tried to even drag in, was it Paula Abdul? Yeah, I think it was Paula. I think Paula Abdul was the head cheerleader for the Lakers at the time.
Mm.
And she and Magic apparently had an affair or whatever. But yeah, but see, the plan was for Magic to die.
Well, have you ever heard of Dr. Sabai?
I'm sorry, say again.
Dr. Sabai, or Sebie. Sabai? Oh, he was a black guy.
You talking about Dr. Sebi?
Yeah, Sabi.
Dr. Sebi just died like 2 years ago.
Yeah, in Honduras.
Dr. Sebi was one of the other guys who advised Magic Johnson not to take the AZT.
Yes. Now his.
Yeah, Dr. Sebi used to do radio shows with us out here in LA on CB1 the station. Carl Nelson's the one that introduced Dr. Sebi to the Southern California community.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry, no, I never heard of him.
No. Carl Nelson, man. I want Carl Nelson on this show. That
I'm
man.
sorry?
I want Carl Nelson on this
Oh, I'm
show.
sure you do. I just talked about Hugh Masekela, Dick Gregory, and others, and yeah, of course, you know, Stevie Wonder. They're responsible for bringing Nelson Mandela out of prison and back in the presidency. Carl Nelson was the first journalist in this country to interview Nelson Mandela when he was free from prison, and most people don't even know that.
Wow.
Mm.
Hey, can you give us Carl Nelson's radio handle?
Show. He just keeps a low profile.
Will you give us Carl Nelson's radio handle?
What's this we? You pregnant or you?
I'm French. Oui, monsieur.
Yeah, well, Carl Nelson, he does it. And I'll tell you something. There's a guy named Craig Hewlett. Now, Craig Hewlett is a regular guest on Coast to Coast AM, and the one thing he will always do when he starts the show, and I know it pisses off all the preppers and white rednecks, he always gives credit to the Carl Nelson show when he starts talking on Coast to Coast AM.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. That's
Anyway,
George
Carl
Newton's
Nelson's been
show.
around forever.
Mm.
He's the one that introduced me to Dick Gregory. You know, well, actually, I met Dick Gregory when I was in college at the College of Charleston. Because Dick Gregory told me back in like 1980 that Ronald Reagan was going to get shot and that Ronald Reagan was going to survive.
Wow.
And this was like almost like 6 months before Reagan got shot. So anyway, but Carl Nelson is now on WOL 1450 1450 AM Monday through Friday out of Washington D.C. Thank God for Kathy Hughes. Because there's something we talked about today that we really haven't talked about. Because even when I was talking about the Women's March, if it wasn't for Kathy Hughes, I wouldn't be doing shows with Carl Nelson.
Mm. There you go.
Yeah. God bless the women.
Yes.
Any man who disrespects the women, I'll just put it this way. You know, I talk a lot of smack about LAPD, but, you know, those white boys at LAPD used to look out for me. Because they knew I was so sensitive to any rape or sexual abuse or domestic violence. They would allow me to go home early so I wouldn't be in the station when some guy got arrested that came in for beating his wife with a baseball bat or shit like that.
Oh, damn.
No, dude, you don't even want to know some of the stuff we see in law enforcement. So, you know, it's kind of like that movie with Russell Crowe, L.A. Confidential, where he would go off on somebody because he used to see his dad get beat all the time. I mean, dad beating his wife, mom up all the time. I never had that personal experience, but I don't know what it is. But my one weakness in life was I just can't tolerate people disrespecting women.
Right.
So if anybody wanted to manipulate me when I was at LAPD, they could have always set me up to go in to save some woman. Fortunately, it never happened because I'm sure there's a higher power that was looking out for me, but I'm just saying that was my one weak spot. I could handle murders. I could handle the most heinous crimes on the planet. When somebody was afraid to go in a building, they called me to go in a building. But, dude, I'd kill your ass if I found out you beat the shit out of some woman.
And rightfully so.
Right.
Because that all guy that beats up a woman he's demonstrating his ability to prey on the weaker part of society. Because he beat up a woman, he'll beat up a kid, he'll beat up a
And that's
weaker
why I
man.
was with 500,000 women on Saturday. They know I'm not gay, and they didn't care because they were just like, "Damn, this brother's out here with us.
Yeah.
We'll give this brother some love, man." But they know the
That's what
difference
we
between
have to do
agape
to our
love and somebody with an
Yeah.
ulterior motive.
You know, we need to show more love and compassion.
Well, I'll just tell you a little secret about that, okay? When I was working for LAPD at the Academy, I was up there for 10 years. One of the ways LAPD would weed out people they didn't like is to make sure they don't pass the firearms training. And you
Right.
can't, if you don't pass the firearms training, you can't go out in the streets as a cop. So that's how they used to weed out women. So there would be females, black, white, brown, you name it. They would fail firearms, and then they would come to me for help. Well, after coming to me, they passed. I wish I was making this up. The Academy passed a special rule that if you didn't work firearms, you couldn't help anybody with
Wow.
firearms training.
You were letting too many females through.
Yep.
And karma is real, folks. I was involved as a supervisor in one of the most recent infamous LAPD shootouts. I didn't compromise my integrity, so I left LAPD. But when LAPD was going after me because they were afraid I was going to be a liability in that shootout incident, they administratively transferred me to a division that I had no background or experience in because they figured this is how they're going to teach me a lesson. Well, what they didn't know was, guess who was in charge of the unit?
Who?
A female who I had helped when she was in the academy.
There you go.
Yes.
And then they sent me to work in the city attorney's office, which had nothing to do with my background. And when I got to the city attorney's office, guess who was the person in charge of all the LAPD cops at the city attorney's office?
Somebody.
Another black female who I had helped when she was in the academy.
Yes.
Not only there were black females who I helped in the academy who graduated because of me, there were black females who were some of my biggest fans had Mark from Anaheim on Carl Dumpton's show. Well, back then it was the front page on Stevie Wonder thing. So there's karma, folks. What goes around comes around.
Yes, it
And
does.
everybody who's ever gone out of their way to do some harm to me, I've never wished harm on anybody, but something really bad has happened to them.
Like you said, that's the universe looking out for you. The
Yep.
Most
And by the
High.
way, I can tell you this too, in the surfing community, trust me, the surfers, professional surfers all, they all know this. Don't mess with the black guy on the beach. Hey, I'll be at some of the hey, the U.S. Open of surfing is the largest surfing contest on the planet. I have little white boys come up on the pier while I'm at watching it, and they go, "So, who's gonna go? Who pissed you off? Who's gonna go down in this heat?"
Mm-mm.
I wish I was not serious. Because, look, I don't ever wish harm on anybody, but I'm from the low country, Johns Island, South Carolina. I'm Gullah and Geechee. And
Did you just
anybody
say
who
you're Gullah
unnecessarily
and
dis-
Geechee?
Anybody who unnecessarily disrespects me, they know they will never win a surf contest.
Right here. On the book that we got from the doctor, they were talking about the Yasasimi and Gullah Geechee Wars. Do you know anything about that?
I'm sorry, say that again?
The
Yamasee and Gullah Geechee War?
You're talking about Yamasee. Yamasee is a tribe of Native Americans who today they claim doesn't exist, but I have a sneaking suspicion that there are a few as myself who, through the bloodlines, they may not be able to prove that the Yamasee exists, but I have a sneaking suspicion that their spirits are living through us. And South Carolina is in for a major...
Somebody sent us a book
I'm from
in
Johns
about
Island,
that.
okay? And Johns Island, James Island, you have Kiowa Island, and you have Seabrook Island. Now, these islands were heavily populated by Native Americans, many of them who allowed the runaway slaves to move in with them when they were hiding from slave owners. South Carolina's gone through a major transformation. Now, you guys may have never heard about Kuwaiti until 1991 when the Kuwaiti War started.
Yes.
But I heard about Kuwaiti back in the 70s.
Mm.
So when you guys are bored sometimes, especially the listeners, just Google this one, AB scam. A, B as in boy, S as in Sam, C as in Charles, A, M as in Mary, AB scam. because the Saudis were buying out the United States politicians back then.
Wow.
And Afghan was a major scandal involving all these U.S. congressional leaders who were on the payroll for the Kuwaitis. I say this because being on John's Island, South Carolina, the Kuwaitis came down with a briefcase full of cash and bought Kiowa Island back in the 70s. So I'm very familiar with what the Saudis are, who they are, and how they've been running this country, or how they've been manipulating politicians. And for you folks out there, my all-time favorite Denzel Washington movie is a movie called Power. Now, this is before Denzel Washington became really famous, and that movie, he is a lobbyist behind the scenes working for the Saudis.
Mm.
And this movie came out like in the 80s, folks. Trust me. You want to see the movie Power with Denzel Washington. So having said all this, what I'm trying to tell you is with Yamasee, you have a Gullah tribe in Beaufort, South Carolina. There's actually an African village. But sadly, over the years, the African village has been decimated because they're hurting for funds, and they're allowing more and more Europeans to come in with money to influence them, and they've been corrupted now.
Wow.
But when it comes to the Cajuns in New Orleans and the Creoles, when it comes to the Haitians and their voodoo,
Yes.
they got nothing on us who are Gullah or Geechee. And I don't even practice it, even though I'm like one of the last people who was taught that I've seen things that you don't even want to imagine or know. And there was a movie, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, which is actually based on Savannah, but it's based on one of my distant relatives, Dr. Buzzer, who's from Beaufort, South Carolina, who was in Savannah. Dr. Buzzer was so powerful, people still go and still search from his grave to get some of his power.
No way.
I'll just say, there are folks out there who, they just leave me alone.
Wow.
Right.
Wow, man. I mean, everything you talk about is so powerful. Everything you bring up, there is a method
I
to
should tell you this.
madness.
Maybe I shouldn't, but I'll just tell you this, okay? I have done things that you would not even believe. Being stupid at the time, because I was young and wanted to impress white folks. There were these 3 black females. They were all atheists from Virginia, but they were living in Charleston now. Their dad was Navy. I mean, these sisters were fine, like Red Fox said. These sisters were so fine. He's like, the daddy's dick. Okay, these ones were fine. Okay. So anyway, I tried to impress them by being blasphemous. There was sunshine, not a cloud in the sky, and out of nowhere, within seconds of me saying something to impress them, a lightning bolt struck in their yard between me and them. Now, by the way, they were all atheists. Those 3 girls got up and went inside the house and never talked to me again because they knew. I should have never said what I said trying to impress them by blaspheming God.
What did you say?
And later on, we were playing basketball in this driveway with a bunch of white kids. It was raining. And I'm like, well, you guys want me to stop the rain? They're like, yeah, right. So I went out there and I stopped the rain, right? So we were playing basketball, so it started raining again. And I said, well, you guys want me to stop the rain? Yeah, go ahead, stop the rain. And guess what, brother? I did.
Wow.
So it started raining again like an hour later. I go, so, you guys want to play basketball? Yeah, go ahead. I challenge you. You ain't stop. So when I stopped the rain the 3rd time, dude, these guys took their basketball on that. I said, stay away from him. Hey, I wish I was making this up. And I'll just say this too. When I was only 2 years old, my mom didn't tell me this until right before she died. But when I was 2 years old, they had these white doctors in New York using me for psychic. All these Germans they brought over here on the Operation Paperclip and stuff. They were using me for psychic experiments at the age of 2. And they listening to this show right now. They follow me everywhere I go. I know. I'm just telling you, there are things out there that are going on, folks, that you can't scientifically explain, but more importantly, there's a war going on right now for the minds and souls of the American people and the rest of the world. What's going on here in the U.S., it's going on in Europe also. It's not just here. And there are portals being opened up all over the planet because they're trying to bring Lucifer and his fallen angels back in the fold.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's a superconductor computer they're using to find what they call it the God particle. So right now, you have airplanes, commercial airlines, around the country. When they come into land, they're not even landing straight on the runway because with this super particle conductor they're doing, is destroying the electromagnetic field of the planet. So everything that the GPS was originally set on is all off now.
Wow.
Now, if you notice, we talked about the missile, whether it was a false alarm or what, but what nobody's talking about, within the last 2 weeks, there have been several countries who, one, have launched satellites that didn't make it where it's supposed to go, or were planning on launching satellites and cancel them at the last second.
What's going
There's a
on?
lot of stuff going on, folks, because man is too big for his britches. They've really wreaked havoc on this planet. For every action, there's a reaction. And ever since the hydrogen bomb testing, we've been putting holes in the ozone layer, and we're trying to rectify those situations. But Mother Earth is ailing right now, and as long as they keep looking for these portals for Lucifer, you're going to see a whole lot of issues and problems going on in this country.
Wow.
And I wish I was making this up, because like I tell you folks, if you don't want to believe, you don't have to believe. The greatest accomplishment of Lucifer is convincing folks that he doesn't exist.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you have any ideas on that meteor strike in Michigan that happened about a week ago?
The one over Detroit?
Yes.
The same day when I decided not to come on the show with you guys?
Yes.
That was a coincidence, surely a coincidence.
I don't blame
The
you.
one where people have photographs saying they saw lasers from the ground pointing up at, now they're trying to tell you, is this a meteor?
Yes.
No, I don't know anything about that.
I mean, my question is, how come NASA, all the billions of dollars we give NASA, how come they couldn't detect it with all their, instruments?
Because maybe it's not what they told you they said it was.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
probably what it was.
No, it looked like a missile to me. It looked like a missile
I'll just tell
striking.
you this, okay? Pence is over in Israel wreaking havoc, and now he plans on having the embassy in Jerusalem sooner than expected. You have these fanatic evangelicals who really believe by having an all-out war caliphate, just like the Wahhabist Muslims and the Saudis, all-out war caliphate, that this is going to bring the return of Christ. Now, these folks already have the technology with holographic imagery. It would take nothing for them to cast in the sky one night this holographic image of this white boy that Leonardo da Vinci painted in Italy, and everybody thinks he's Jesus Christ.
Right.
And folks will think that the return of Christ is here.
Mm-hmm.
And they will follow this, because that's how brainwashed the American people are, and most Europeans are. I love it when people talk about, oh, yeah, I saw an image of Jesus Christ in the toast. Bread that was toasted. First of all, the Last Supper was done by Leonardo da Vinci, and those were all relatives and friends of his from Italy. Jesus doesn't look like that. You can go to the Vatican and see a black Madonna holding a black Jesus Christ, okay? But I'm just saying, the technology we have today, and with all the false prophets out there and folks like the evangelicals and others who claim to be Christians, it would take nothing for them to be manipulated into believing that even that media show or whatever it was over Detroit was a sign. We're at the end times, as they call it. And when they create this all-out war, which is coming, and it's coming, folks, we're headed for World War. When this is all done, you're going to have somebody rising from the ashes that's going to have the answer the world seeks.
The Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me just tell you, folks, if you study closely the UFO, which, of course, George Norrie and Coast to Coast love to talk about, they believe that the aliens have blood as pure as the Aryan Viking race.
Oh, God.
And many of them on this planet, their job is to eliminate those who don't also have the same thing. The Germans and the UFO analogy is very close.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What, Madame Blavatsky?
And that's why they're pissed off, because if you watch the movie Thor, what was the one thing about Thor that really pissed off the Nazis?
The Black Valkyrie.
Tessa Thompson playing this Aryan female.
Yes.
That got them pissed off, dude, because they take this stuff seriously.
Mm-hmm. Because it's their religion. This is what they believe in their heart.
Right. And they brought this crap here, so when people believe in Santa Claus and, Easter Bunny and all that, that's the Europeans bringing that crap over here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The Teutonic Sprite. Why would you drink a soft drink that tells you, I like the Sprite in you? Sprite is a disemboweled spirit. Santa Claus is a disemboweled spirit. Coca-Cola cleaned up the image of Santa Claus. So when they come right out in your face and say, I like to frighten you, but you don't take the time to look it up in a dictionary. And what the hell is Sprite? Why would I go to a store and a restaurant and order a drink that's named Sprite?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And for you folks who don't believe me, Santa Claus' nickname is Old Nick. You take any dictionary, no matter how cheap the dictionary is, and look up the definition of Old Nick and see what it tells you.
He eats children from Europe.
The devil. In fact, you mentioned children. Well, you know, that's what a candy cane is.
Yes.
The candy cane symbolizes the white children of Europe that were eaten. That's the blood dripping down off the white kids in Europe, eaten by Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
This is absolutely appalling.
And no, but here's the problem. We as colored folks, we emulate them. We follow their practice. Right now, as the economy, you talk about Walmart and Sam's Club closing. Toys R Us is closing.
Yep.
Kimberly Clark is laying off people. Worse, these things are being done right after the holidays, and we are, as black folks, are so stupid. We went into debt buying presents for people we couldn't afford, and now losing their jobs. I have never been broke in January. You know why?
You don't buy
I don't
shit.
buy Christmas presents. First of all, Jesus Christ wasn't born in December, and secondly, I don't get into that. I never bought my children Christmas presents, and they're just fine.
And what about all the people at the diaper factory? You know, you got all these people at the diaper factories being laid off because diapers are not needed because less people are having babies.
Exactly.
You know, this is where we're at.
They tell you, you know, less people having babies. If less people are having babies, what they really mean is less white folks are having babies.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell it.
Well, the white male sperm count in the Western hemisphere is down 40%.
And why would that be? Because they're the ones working jobs exposing themselves since they allowed Reagan to come in with all his deregulation and getting rid of unions. All these organizations that protected the employee from work safety hazards, those laws are being taken off the books, deregulation is coming in, and these are the guys who got those blue-collar jobs that get good pay,
Yep.
and they're exposing themselves to the very chemicals that's going to enable them not to have children.
Yes.
Then you got white women who've been the flight attendants for so many years. When you fly on an international flight, you're sprayed with insecticide.
Wow.
You're exposed to radiation on those airplanes every day. So if you look at flight attendants, they have a very low chance of ever having children.
Wow.
And
But
now
that
they're
helps
telling
the
people
company.
all over the world, oh, you can wait. Go out and make money. Money.
Yes.
Wait until you're in your 30s to have your first child. Well, you're an idiot, especially for Europeans, because the prime time for a female to have a baby, regardless of ethnicity, but specifically for Europeans, is between the ages of 14 to 25.
Once again, that's why you can get married at 12
That's right.
or 14 in most
So
states.
14 to 25, and once you start hitting your 30s, you're increasing the chances of the child having childbirth defects or you having major problems. And the reason they're forcing everybody to have cesarean birth, because chances are you're not going to be able to have more than 2 children once you've had a cesarean birth.
Wow.
And it saves the doctors from all kind of malpractice because they have far less risk of delivering a child through cesarean than bringing a child normally through the uterus.
Right.
There you go.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This show here brings that knowledge.
Yep.
It brings what people really needs to hear to live.
I can't believe I was watching
I know nothing.
CNN. I was watching
I'm
CNN
sorry, that was
the
Hogan
other
Zero.
night, and they
Just
had
to show you, now, this is Dick
Frank
Gregory here, because I was give
Green.
credit where credit's due. The one of the many things that Dick Gregory enlightened me on, just to show you how evil the United States is. Only the United States, where people keep talking about how the Jews run this and the Jews run that, would have a TV show called Hogan's Hero that makes fun of Nazi Germany when the Holocaust was going on.
Right. Oh, gosh.
And so when I say I know nothing, that was the Sergeant Schultz of
Yes.
Hogan's Hero.
Yep.
And
It
of course,
was.
you know, Bob Crane was calling Colonel Hogan. You guys Google that one and find out what happened to him.
Oh my gosh.
Find out what happened to Bob Crane, because to this day, nobody's ever been arrested for what happened to Bob Crane.
And they ain't gonna be.
You know, this is what is so important. Is this oral history that's not written down in any book that's being shared with the people.
Well, but I'll tell you something. There are folks listening to your show right now, and trust me, Hollywood will be making some TV show or movie. Somebody's going to be making some money off of something they heard today.
Yes.
You won't get any credit for it. I won't get any credit for it, but that's how it works.
That's not what we're in
Because
this
Hollywood's
about.
running out of ideas.
Yes. Because Hollywood is fakery. What we're dealing with here on the other morning show is truth. Truth stands the test of time.
Yeah,
Truth.
and all they had to do is give me a couple of female girls to, if they just put Tandy Newton and Rosario Dawson in my backyard, they could shut me up. I would quietly go away, and I wouldn't be a threat anymore.
Right. But we need you, Mark, as a threat. We need this knowledge. We
It's funny
need
you
it.
say that. Actually, no. There are folks out there who wants to see, well, let's see how far is he going to go and how do people react.
Yeah.
Go as far as you can go.
I can tell you personally right now, we have changed the life of people out here listening to us. We really have. I can tell you straight
So
up,
what
you
you're
have changed
telling
my
me is you don't
life.
mind engaged in the military now?
What's that?
By the way, you do realize I don't use the term military, right?
What do you use?
Do you know why?
Why?
During World War II, the United States, well, first of all, most draft dodgers from World War II fled to the U.S. The U.S. didn't get in the war. It was only after certain people allowed Pearl Harbor to happen that forced the U.S. to get into the war. And by that time, the term military is actually a condescending term coined by civilians who've never served. So most folks don't know this. In fact, guys who wear the uniform, they don't know this. So what I tell you, they don't know. So we always use the term armed forces of service.
Yes.
And you have to remember something. Back in those days, what was the Defense Department called?
Oh my God, I'm not for sure.
Notice the silence? Because you don't even know.
No.
The War Department.
Yes.
Because that's what it's about. But they know to manipulate the minds of people, they had to change that title because that's what they're about. They're about creating war. But by calling themselves Defense Department, that sounds far more kind.
Yes.
And
More
this is what they've
palatable.
done. They've learned how to manipulate and use certain terms. It's like Planned Parenthood.
Oh God.
Well, how the hell are you planning to be a parent if you're going to an abortion clinic?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So if you hear Alex Jones on the radio say we, he means they, and when he says they, he means we, because that's how they project.
One thing about
So when he
Jones,
tells
I
you
had a
that
problem
they
with.
plan on killing the president. No, Alex Jones and these folks, they're going to make it look like other people brought the president to his demise, and that's going to cause a civil war. But they've never voted for Trump. These folks didn't vote for John McCain when he ran against Obama. They voted for Sarah Palin. They didn't vote for Mitt Romney when he ran against Obama. They voted for Paul Ryan. And they did not vote for Donald Trump. They voted for Mike Pence.
Yep.
And Mike Pence is far more misogynist than Donald Trump could ever imagine.
Yeah.
He's the most dangerous guy elected in the office, second only to Ted Cruz.
Mm.
And while folks are sitting there talking, Donald Trump loves getting their attention, but Donald Trump's not running the White House. Mike Pence, the John Birch Society, evangelicals, they're running things. They're calling the shots. And every time Trump screws up every once in a while, says he's going to do something, all of a sudden the next day he changes his policy because they told him, that's not how you, no, you're going to do this.
Right.
So if you folks out there want to get an idea of what I'm talking about, Quentin Tarantino and the boys helped do a movie called Machete. Now, this movie came out like 7 years ago with Robert De Niro. Listen to Robert De Niro and you'll see and hear everything that Donald Trump was saying when he ran for office, including the wall.
Mm.
And you'll also see what happens to Robert De Niro in that movie. I'm just putting it out there. Hollywood always tells you what they plan on doing to you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you. Yeah. That's.
So does he have Franklin Graham was talking to Don Lemon saying that God put Trump in power.
Yeah.
Well, you remember seeing that video with all the black preachers holding their hands on Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Oh, he's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
He's
So
not.
you mentioned black preachers. Let me tell you another lie that keeps getting perpetrated. Because I just heard it last night because these white Republicans are talking crap about Donald Trump and so how they compare it. Well, Obama was going for 20 years to this church.
Yes.
And whose church is that?
Reverend Wright.
Jeremiah Wright. What do you know about Jeremiah Wright?
Not much.
Well, let me enlighten you. First of all, Jeremiah Wright was a U.S. Marine. Secondly, he left the Marine Corps and became a Navy corpsman. Third, he was one of the people responsible for saving the life of Lyndon Baines Johnson when he had gallbladder surgery. Did you guys know any of this?
No.
He's a Vietnam War veteran. Did you know that?
No.
So who the hell has more authority than anybody else to come out and say the chickens that come home to roost from the United States are doing shit they shouldn't be doing?
There you go. Somebody that's experienced it.
Well, my whole thing
So
is.
I challenge anybody here on this show today to say I'm lying to you. Jeremiah Wright is a patriot who's just calling a spade for being a spade.
Right.
Now, but here I like about this. Obama's a Muslim. Didn't Donald Trump say that Obama wasn't a U.S. citizen, he was a Muslim?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, make up your damn mind. Is he a member of a radical Christian church under Jeremiah Wright?
Wow.
Or is he a Muslim?
Wow.
He can't be both.
Nope, that he can't.
And my whole.
So black folks and Democrats, and I know that term used Democratic, because that's the term, not Democrat. If black folks and Democrats don't come out and say what I just told you, they're frauds.
Wow.
Well, I can tell you this: they gonna be frauds because they ain't gonna come out and say what you just
No.
said.
Not even remotely.
Not even close. No.
No.
And yet we have the internet, and there's nothing I just said to you that if they chose to take the time to look it up, they can find it out for themselves. They don't know, and they don't want to know.
Mm-mm.
No,
'Cause they like to
willful
perpetuate the
ignorance.
lie that Obama was going to church with a radical minister. Malcolm X said the chickens would come home to roost. Didn't that take Malcolm X down?
Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Mhm.
Why?
He was just too radical.
Because Chicago is one of the most politically powerful cities on the planet. Where's the Council of Foreign Relations located in the U.S.?
Chicago.
I'm not for sure.
You there?
Hello?
Okay.
Where's the Council on Foreign Relations in the U.S. located?
Chicago?
Where's Obama from?
I
Chicago?
said Chicago.
Where's the headquarters for the Nation of Islam?
Chicago.
Where's House Negro from Greenville, South Carolina, with his Operation Push? Where did he head to?
Chicago.
I can do this all day long.
Chicago,
What
Chicago.
I'm trying to
Chicago.
tell you is this. Elijah Muhammad had a very cozy deal with Mayor Daley. And I'm not talking about Mayor Daley Jr., the daddy. Nation of Islam paid $1 a year to rent the building where they held their national headquarters meeting. You know, he used to sit on the front row for the first 2 rows of that meeting every Sunday? The
That's
Nazi
what-
Party. Because they were saying the same thing, separate the races. When Malcolm X went to the Mecca
Yes.
and realized that black, brown, white, yellow, you don't care. If you're a Muslim, they all worship at the Mecca. He came back and started talking about this. When black women came up and started talking about Elijah Muhammad having fathered, these women out of wedlock, Malcolm X became a threat. When Kennedy was killed, Malcolm X said the chickens have come home to roost. Well, he didn't know Kennedy and Mayor Daley were very, 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 very close. Mayor Daley calls up Elijah Muhammad and goes, "Hey, what you doing, man? What's up with your boy over there?" That's why they spanked Malcolm X, because Malcolm X was ruling the behind-the-scenes deal going on between Daley and the Nation of Islam. I just call a spade a spade.
That's the reason why Malcolm X said one of the vines that came
Well,
back
he
to
didn't
choke
know
one of
he
its
was
own.
stepping on the hand that was providing them with the monetary power. See, when you mess with the hand that feeds you behind the scenes and you don't even know about it, that's when you become a threat.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And Mayor Daley called Elijah Muhammad up and put him in line. And to put him in line means Malcolm X has to be put in line.
See,
And that eventually led to Malcolm's death. Now, for you folks who don't know this, when somebody gets shot and has what we call a sucking chest wound, one of the last things you want to do is give them mouth to mouth. So when you look at the guy on the stage giving Malcolm mouth to mouth, you know who the guy is to make sure he died.
oh shit. See, my problem, I was going to say earlier, with people talking so much crap about Reverend Wright, no one talks crap about those people still running to the Catholic Church, giving those people money, knowing that raping these boys up in here, and they still support them. All these hospitals in our area, if you get sick, you go to a hospital, you pay that bill, you're paying for a rape victim's settlement at the end of the day. Because that's all that's out here.
But brother, what choice do you have? First of all, even Hillary Clinton run for president. Let me just refresh your memories about Hillary Clinton, okay? When Barack Obama ran for president, what president candidate had received more money from the hospitals and medical industry?
Not for sure.
I would think Obama did, because one.
No guesses?
Was it Obama?
Or Bin Laden or
Obama.
Biden.
So when Obama pushed this thing that they're now calling Obamacare, it's bull. It's not Obamacare. When Obama ran, he talked about, the things that Obama pushed for were all taken out before it was passed. Because Obamacare is nothing more than the Bob Dole, Mitt Romney care,
Yes.
which is a Republican plan.
Yeah.
Single payer option, all that stuff that Obama wanted, that was all removed before Congress approved it.
Yep.
And if you look at Massachusetts and what Mitt Romney did, the so-called what they call Obamacare now models Mitt Romney care.
Yes.
But this is the game they play. Now, do you remember the couple in Washington, D.C. that went to the White House, crashed a party,
Yes.
but didn't have an invitation?
Yeah.
Yes, I remember them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you guys a question. Do you really believe somebody can go to a White House party with no invitation and crash a White House party?
No.
No.
Who ended up losing her job after that incident? The black female who sponsored and coordinated all of Obama's, parties at the White House, right? We'll go back and look and see who she is. She's from Chicago, just like Obama. And guess who she worked for? Blue Cross Blue Shield
No.
in Illinois. What I'm trying to tell you, folks, is these folks, House of Cards, I don't watch TV, okay? But I went out and bought the 5th season of House of Cards because I figured if Kevin Spacey went down, there must be something in that series, in that season, that brought him down. Then I went out and got, once again, karma. I went to this place because I still have DVDs. So I went to this one place who didn't have any more DVDs. And I said, well, I need the 4th season before that. I wish I was making this up. I go to Barnes & Noble. The only House of Cards they had, guess what they were?
What?
Seasons 1 through 4 on DVD sitting there like they were waiting for me. That's the story of my life. So anyway, I come home and I binge watch House of Cards and I'm like, oh my God, folks, trust me. If you really want to know what goes on in D.C., you got to watch House of Cards. You got to watch House of Cards. Now, Michelle Obama, she used to work in hospitals in Chicago. I don't know if you know this. Go back and find out how many black folks got turned away from the hospital she was working in, and she sent them to the public center. So, brother, when you talk about people and where they go for medical service, those are the kind of places that Michelle Obama sent them to. I wish I was making this up. And see, I know folks from Chicago. By the way, Steve Cokie was from Chicago. And Steve used to work for Harold Washington, mayor. So he learned a lot. And Steve and I both believe Harold Washington was killed because when he started becoming a threat to that whole dealer machine and the folks who were running things out of Chicago, they took Harold Washington out.
Wow.
And you do realize that Barack Obama just maybe 4 weeks ago in Chicago stated he didn't use the guy's name, but he basically said that the leader of the U.S. is going to kill 6 million people just like Hitler did in Nazi Germany.
Right. Yeah, he did say that. Yep.
Well, you have to go back and look at who he said that to. Because there's a very powerful organization out of Chicago that most people don't know about, and they run a lot of politics. And most times when I tell people, I say, hey, where's the Council of Foreign Relations? They automatically think it's United Nations,
Yes.
New York. It's not, it's Chicago. Well, you guys have heard about the Koch brothers, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And who are they affiliated with?
John Birch Society.
There you go. Well, who do you think put Obama in as the U.S. Senator before he ever ran for president?
John
Birch
Birch.
Society.
And I'll just say this, because you know me, I call a spade a spade. Since I used to have oh my God, I would drink her bathwater. Kalita Smith, do you know who that is?
No.
Oh, God. You ever heard of the Bernie Mac show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was his wife.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Damn, that sister's fine. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
See, if you white boys wanted me not to be a threat, all you had to do is hook me up with Danny Newton, Rosario Dawson, or Kalita Smith. Oh, my God. And I would go away quietly, shut the hell up, and never be a threat again. Anyway. Bernie Mac comes out and starts telling people the truth about Obama, and he did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He goes to a hospital, and he did. In fact, when he was in the hospital, the newspapers had already reported that he was dead, and he goes, I'm not dead. He was a week later.
Mm.
I'm laughing, but it's true.
That's messed up. This is messed up.
I wish I was making this up, man.
We
No,
wish you were
seriously.
too.
They
Yep.
took him out, man. When he started telling people who Obama really was, oh, dude, they took him out.
Mm.
Mm.
It makes sense though.
In fact, for you folks out there that do want, I don't want you to believe anything I said. Just Google this one: Bernie Mac and Obama, and see what you come up with.
Bernie Mac and Obama. You know.
What's the next question? Because I'm getting too drunk to talk now.
I got a question. I was scouring the internet and I came across something that was talking about in the state legislation in California, they were taking strides to break away from part of California to create what would be called like
That's
New
not going to
California.
happen. Okay, listen. Southern California gets its water from Northern California
Mhm.
Central. If you really want to know the truth about this movie is so close to reality. Look at the movie Chinatown with
Oh yeah, the old one. That old movie.
oh damn, I
Chinatown.
can't believe I just forgot his name. You know, the guy who played in A Few Good Men.
It was set like in the
I forgot his
40s.
name. Looking at his face too, but the actor. Yeah, that's what I get for drinking. In A Few Good Men, he's the colonel who says Americans can't handle the truth.
Jack
Jack
Nicholson.
Nicholson.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, who?
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny too because anytime he had a movie coming out, there'd be some scandal about him. And he was one of the LAPD celebrity golf tournament guys. And right before this movie came out, he gets arrested for taking his golf clubs and beating somebody's car.
Oh,
All
shit.
these little negative publicity you hear about these guys, that's to promote their movies. What do you call it? Yes,
Mhm.
the Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, Gitmo. That was Gitmo before you guys ever heard of Gitmo. That's Guantanamo Bay with Demi Moore. So anyway, yeah, there's a lot going on, man. And I strongly recommend you folks go back and watch that movie, A Few Good Men. That movie, by the way, starts off with what they think is the Marine Corps Eighth and I. It's not. Those are actually Texas A&M guys. Because to this day, guess where most Marine Corps officers come from?
Where?
Schools in the Deep South.
Wow.
Which means, what are they most likely to be affiliated with?
Rednecks.
There you go. There you go.
Oh man. I remember the
And
last
right now,
show
I'm
you told
speaking
us
to
about
you, Ollie North from Iran Contra, and Eric Prince, whose sister is, head of Secretary of Education,
Betsy
are
DeVos.
putting together a private army
Right.
to do things for Trump that you don't even want to know.
Right.
Have we not learned anything from Hitler? The formation of the SS with the brown
I'm
shirts.
sorry, say that again, sir?
Have we ever not? Did we not learn anything from Hitler? How he formed the SS and the
How
brown
can you
shirt?
learn when you don't get the history?
Right.
Hitler didn't come into power by accident. First of all, Hitler could not even qualify for the Nazi Party. Do you know why?
Why?
His hair is brown, not blonde.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
His eyes are brown, not blue.
Yep.
He has cavities. You can't do that. And one leg was shorter than the other. Hitler was an intelligence officer who was sent in to infiltrate the Nazi Party and take it over.
Really?
So you guys ever heard of the TV show Get Smart?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Get Smart, you know, I'm a Marine. Get Smart, when you look at the guy who was on the show, the star,
Max.
Maxwell Smart,
Yeah.
Don Adams, he was a Marine. Who were the two major players on Get Smart?
It was Agent 99, and then the old
Get
guy.
that, dude. It was Chaos and Control.
Oh yeah.
They come right out and tell you, dog. They create the chaos. You demand something be done about it, and by doing that, you give up your control.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Chaos and control. Those were the two major players in that show. So when you talk about all this stuff and people talk about Russians, look, the oligarchs in Russia are in bed with the oligarchs in the U.S.
Yep.
Yeltsin was the first president in Russia after the so-called Cold War ended. Who put Yeltsin in power?
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
There you go. Well, the U.S.
Well, yeah.
So when you hear Trump cavorting or colluding, for anybody out there, I highly recommend you watch this movie, Our Kind of Traitor. And that movie will show you the Russian connection with not Great Britain and U.S. everything.
Wow.
There is no Russia. There is no U.S. There is no Germany, folks. It's just money. Rubles, Ugarons, dollars, whatever.
Wow.
All this left, right, Democrat, Republican, black, white, they don't give a damn. I can walk into a room, if they want to know how to make more money and power, they're going to listen to me, and they don't care who I am, what I am. All you folks that are buying into this liberal, Democrat, conservative, it's all crap, dog.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new world order.
Yep.
And Trump is sitting right there right now with the major players in the new world order over in Switzerland.
Well, this is.
And if Trump doesn't go along with the program, then, you know, don't drive through Dallas with the top down.
Yep. Be sleeping with the fishes.
Or else we could say, greetings, President Pence.
You know
But
it.
that's going to be any better.
Do you think
Yeah,
that?
well, and here's the thing. Nobody's talking about who would Pence pick as this. Imagine Pence and Ted Cruz.
Oh,
Now,
stop.
Ted Cruz, when he ran, he was far more open. And I should remind you folks of this. Ted Cruz swore he would never drop out of the damn running.
Yes.
Where did he drop out?
He did
Because
drop out.
Donald Trump mentioned Lee Harvey Oswald
Yeah.
and Trump and Ted Cruz's daddy.
Right.
Yep.
He
He
shut
went
the
and
fuck
dropped
up
out
and
the
left.
next day.
Mhm.
You folks have no idea what's going on. Anyway, so Ted Cruz, his number one big sponsor was a guy named Mike Bickle. Ever heard of Mike Bickle?
No.
No, enlighten us, please.
Mike Bickle, B as in boy, I, C as in Charles, K-E-L. He is the head of the largest evangelical organization in the U.S. called IHOP, International House of Prayer.
Oh, gosh.
And this is what Mike Bickle proudly states. The Jews got what they deserve because they didn't become Christians.
Mm.
Mm.
So while you folks are sitting here patting yourselves on the back, Pence is over in Israel to destroy Israel because these folks hate the Jews.
Mm. Because he killed Christ.
Wow. Only heard, folks.
I mean,
So what about the text messages from the FBI? The two
I'm
people.
sorry, I can't hear you. Say again.
What is your take on just a couple days ago about the people from the FBI mentioned in the secret society?
Famous but incompetent again. The FBI is a good old boy. It's always been a good old boy. And I don't know why people act like they're politicized now. First of all, the FBI was under Gay Edgar Hoover.
yes.
And I don't say that by accident. Gay Edgar Hoover, who destroyed the lives of many prominent gay folks in the political world while he was gay himself. And like, you know, he was down here in San Diego at the horse track race out in Del Mar. And a news reporter caught him in the bathroom with a little boy, and then the reporter lost his job.
Oh, God.
Anyway, I digress. But as a child, I used to play at Chronicle at the FBI Academy, so it's the things I know and the things I've heard. Anyway, Gator Hoover, he never acknowledged the term mafia. He never acknowledged they even
Right.
existed. So I should tell you, enlighten you right there. But more importantly, guess who he hired primarily to be FBI agents?
Who?
The Church of Latter-day Saints.
No.
Who are
Good
those
old
guys?
Mormons.
No way.
How do they figure? How do they like Negroes?
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
It was
If you want to find out about your background, guess who I recommend you contact?
The Church of Mormons.
They know more about you than anybody else. And I love folks who are giving up their DNA to legacy.com. Do you
Yes.
know who the hell those people are? Do you know who the hell and where the hell they're putting your blood data?
No.
So 10 years from now, one of the guys who was talking to me on this radio show, he gets arrested for raping some white woman in San Francisco because they got his DNA there.
Oh
Did
shit.
they get that from legacy.com?
Oh shit.
This is what we're doing, folks. We're giving up our DNA to people we don't even know. But anyway, what I'm telling you about the Mormons, you already know they don't love colored folks, okay? Even though you got confused folks like Gladys Knight and a few others. And the Mormons know how to keep a secret.
Yes.
A lot of Masonic stuff going on here. So it's kind of interesting that now they're talking about the secret society within the FBI is all secret society. You know? Anyway, they've always been politicized, so that's a lot of drama and far to distract you. Meanwhile, Trump is passing executive orders and signing things that Congress wants him to pass, and you're not hearing about it. As Grover Norquist said, we don't need somebody with intelligence to replace Obama. We just need somebody smart enough who can sign what we're going to put on his desk.
Wow.
Right.
And that's what they got.
yeah, in spades. They got that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well,
We're coming to the end of
So
the
I must
show.
have said something that upset somebody because your connection now is really bad.
I
I
know.
don't know how well you can hear me, but I'm having.
We can hear you good.
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. I know. I mean, we're running over on time, but this show has been powerful as hell, epic,
I'm sorry.
because we
I
have
will
got.
make sure that won't happen again.
No, it will happen again. I
Hopefully.
mean,
The drone strike will take care of that. See, Martin Luther King had a dream. Obama had a drone.
oh gosh.
It's probably one outside of where we're at.
for real. Because unfortunately, we have been subverted to the truth. We have
Yep.
been subverted to wanting to seek real knowledge, not this propagandization of bullshit.
Yeah, well, now they know how to compromise and just buy me up. Just send me Rosario Dawson, send me Candy Newton, and who else did I say they could send me?
Kalita Washington.
Who?
Kalina Washington?
And I will shut up and go away, and they got me. See, we all can be bought off, man. That's the problem. We all can be bought off.
See if they got some cute friends.
If they were Russian spies during the Cold War, I would have given up all the information. Hey, what do you want to know?
Oh my gosh, man. This, I mean,
But
So is there a possibility that Donald Trump could be assassinated?
We don't use that kind of language on the radio, dog. My point to you is this. I'm afraid that if something does happen to the president, it's going to be done by the Alex Jones crowd, but they're going to make it look like it's somebody else. That's what my whole point was. We don't talk about things like that when it comes to the president. See, you have to understand, I was a Marine. If I was still an active in the Marine Corps, who do you think I would be protecting?
The president.
I'm sorry?
You'd be protecting the president Constitution.
Why?
because that's what you swore to at the MEP station.
Exactly. My whole point is this. I don't give a shit who's in the White House. If the American people chose that person, no matter whether it was by hook or crook, my job is to protect the office of the presidency, regardless of who it is. And I would be defending Donald Trump just as much as I'd be defending Obama, who I don't have much respect for either, or anybody else who sits there.
That's
Seriously,
called duty.
That's just the way it is.
Mhm.
It's not about the person, it's about the office of the president.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
However, I am very concerned that, just like in the movie Machete, which I strongly recommend you watch, Trump's not going to finish his term, and certain people are going to make it look like, just like in the movie Machete, that individuals were responsible when it was actually the very people who helped put him in office that are
Wow.
responsible. That's how they operate.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
I mean, hopefully we'll be smart enough to see this type of false flag.
I am sorry, sir. I cannot hear anything you just said.
I said, hopefully we'll be smart enough to see this false flag as it occurs.
Well, if he doesn't go down that way, I mean, there's so much criminal, like I already told you, like the NRA and everything else, and Stormy and everybody else. Now, here's the funny thing. We didn't really talk about Stormy. Do you know why Stormy is more likely to bring him down than anything else?
Why?
Because allegedly, money was donated to the Trump campaign in the guise of campaign donations, but to pay off Stormy. So believe it or not, the Stormy issue has violated more federal election commission felonies than all the other stuff they're talking about Trump.
Man.
So that $125,000 can bring him down more than the $70 million involved in the NRA.
Wow. This looks like last show.
it was
Remember
set up
when we
like
were-
that.
When we were talking about how do you get Congress out of your blackouts programs? You do not use federal funds to fund your blackout program.
Okay. See, I know you guys want my truck to blow up. What I told you is this. Back when Ollie North was in the White House with Reagan and the John Birch Society, and of course Ollie North is back now with Eric Prince to create the private army. The only reason the Iran-Contra scandal was a major scandal of criminal proceedings was they used taxpayer money approved by Congress
Right.
for illegal things. So today you get a whole bunch of members from the John Birch Society, like the Koch brothers, the Mercer family, and others, to fund a private army created by Ollie North and Eric Prince. They could go out and do the same thing that was done back in the 80s in Iran-Contra, and because they're a private army using no taxpayers' money approved by Congress,
Congress can't.
there's not a damn thing Congress could do to the U.S. president.
Yep.
And people don't even realize that, and that's how close we are right now.
Dang, dude. It gives goosebumps on me when we really think how serious of a situation we are all in.
Because I
Those
can't-
are the
and
conditions.
By the way, I shouldn't say repeat. I'm a Marine Corps infantry officer. In the artillery and infantry and Navy SEALs, we never say repeat because that means drop all the bombs on my location. You have to say against her because I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Oh, I said this shows what we're up against. We're in a situation.
I don't know if you wanted to call me back or not, but trust me, I can't hear anything any of you saying.
Okay, I'm gonna call him back. Hold on.
All right.
Be right back. No, we're gonna call him right back, and we're gonna finish up the show, folks.
That's right.
This has
Interesting
been
show. Interesting
this
show.
has been a crazy broadcast, but we're gonna get this truth to you because you deserve this
That's right.
knowledge.
Been a lot of bridge drinking too.
Donald Trump reelected campaign headquarters.
You can hear us now.
Huh? Say again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
He's good.
What I said earlier,
much better connection.
good, is that what we're up against is so very serious now. I mean, there's so many wheels within wheels, plans within plans, and it's up. And thank God, seriously, for people like you
That's willing
Yeah,
to
but
come
even
on
I told
shows.
you I could be compromised. All I do is give me Danny Newton and Victoria Dawson, and we all can be paid off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell, if they just sponsored all my little white girls and surfing, I would shut up because I wouldn't want to ruin their sponsorship. Let me tell you this, how deep this is. Because we talked about career earlier. When Donald Trump started running for president, guess who was the number one sponsor of the surfers, especially the women?
Who?
Samsung.
Samsung.
Guess who dropped the sponsorship?
Samsung.
And professional surfing has been hurting ever since. And with Donald Trump and his crap he just did last week, signing this bill that these Republicans put in front of him, Whirlpool, who's been screwing over the black community in Flint, Michigan and other areas around Michigan, it stands to benefit major from the tax cuts and this so-called tariff deal that Trump has signed. Meanwhile, Samsung and a whole lot of companies, Korea now,
Korea.
are starting to get really pissed off at the United States.
Oh gosh.
And so while you're hearing about North Korea and South Korea sitting down and talking together, and then Trump passing this tariff bill, we're headed for a world war. we are headed for a world war. And he just pissed off the Koreans like you cannot even imagine. And the U.S. media is not telling you any of this.
No.
Because
You ain't gonna
big
get it from
corporations
there.
now control 95% of all media in the U.S., and they're not telling you what I just said to you.
Folks, you hear that? We are headed for a world war.
That's why people get
Right.
their news from YouTube.
Well, Civil War too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You know, remember, tell you something. Let me be hard on the colored folks since I'm colored. With this whole DACA thing, we live in a society where it's called political science. Trust me, very little happens in U.S. politics by accident. The Democratic Party and the Republican Party are all in on it together, okay? You take a colored guy, put him in the White House, because a white boy could never get away with it.
Right.
So you put a colored guy in the White House who tells these brown folks, come on, trust me. Give me your name, your address, your phone number, your social security number, and sign up for the Dreamer Act, and I will make sure you're protected.
Mm.
And all these folks now have voluntarily signed up for Obama's DACA Dream Act, knowing that when they put Trump in the White House, he now has their addresses and phone numbers, and people who they didn't even know were in this country illegally can be rounded up.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Unbelievable.
Man.
Meanwhile, you put a colored guy in the White House with ties to Kenya. He, along with Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, are responsible for the deaths and murders of more colored folks on the continent of Africa than any other president in my lifetime. And nobody talks about it because don't say nothing bad about the brother.
Yeah, they did. You know, corporate media didn't say anything about the atrocities Obama committed.
AFRICOM, please. Obama was in office for 1 month, and he killed more so-called terrorists in Afghanistan than George Bush did in 8 years. And yet they were telling you he was a Muslim and he stomped on terrorists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obama killed more people with drones in his first month in office in Afghanistan than, oh, I should say Pakistan too, than George W. Bush did in 8 years.
Wow. But he was a Muslim usurper.
You know it. Kenyan Muslim
What
usurper.
I'm just saying to
Look
you
at that
is,
Kenyan in there.
if you look on both sides of the U.S. flag in Congress, you will see the symbol of the fascist. Now, for you folks who are old enough to remember, the U.S. dime with the lady on it.
Yes.
On the back of that dime, you'll see the symbol of the fascist.
Mm-hmm.
The number one most politically strong sheriff's department in this country, guess what symbol they use for their logo?
No.
I wish I was lying.
Jeez. What's
Hey, you
We
gotta
are a
understand that
fascist
symbol he's talking
we
about
are
came
a
from Roman
fascist
days.
country.
Mm-hmm.
We are a fascist country, and fascism is alive and well again. So you guys can sit here and talk all the crap you want. The John Birch Society is fascist.
Yes.
They're running the White House. They're running the U.S. Senate. They're running the House of Representatives, and they now run the Supreme Court. So I'm going to enlighten you guys with just one little case that went on. Now, I code service from around the world. I'll tell you this because I could care less, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. I'm around scantily clad, wet, cold, hard-nippled women all day long. It doesn't faze me because ever since I quit LAPD in 2008, I don't let any woman get close to me. But there's one surfer down in South America who, yeah, I'd probably sell my soul for. Anyway, I say this to you because let's take Ecuador. Back in 2001, under the George W. Bush administration, Chevron was allowed to merge with Texaco.
Yes.
Prior to that merger, Texaco had already destroyed a vast amount of the Amazon area, Amazon forest in Ecuador. And the Ecuadorian people had filed a major lawsuit. Now, it's been more than 20 plus years. While you were distracted with Donald Trump's tweet, last year the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in favor of Chevron and Texaco. So the $8.9 billion that should have gone to the Ecuadorian people, now mind you, this is more than 20 plus years. I can take you to Ecuador right now. You would look at this beautiful grassy field, but if you pull up the grass, guess what came out the ground?
Oil?
Oh yeah. They have permanently destroyed so much of Ecuador. Now why am I telling you this? I just find it hard to believe, not to imagine, how the Supreme Court would have ruled had Antonin Scalia still been alive.
Oh, shit. Wow.
So go back, folks, and watch the movie Pelican Brief, The Pelican Brief, with Denzel Washington and, Julia Roberts, who was so ugly that people think she's pretty, but I'm not going to be mean. Because that movie shows you how they removed Supreme Court justices who were not going to go along with the oil industry.
Right.
And not just the Supreme, the lower courts. What, Trump put in 68? Lower court judge?
What Congress did and what Mitch McConnell is doing right now, they stopped Obama from appointing anybody. But let's go back to the Supreme Court. Antonin Scalia. Where did he die?
He died like in,
He died under Obama's term.
Yeah.
but like in,
But
what,
where
November?
did he die?
On the Texas ranch or somewhere, some crazy place in
A
Texas.
Bohemian Grove Ranch in Texas.
Yes.
Wake up, dog. That Bohemian Grove Ranch where he died is owned by John Poindexter, Iran-Contra, in bed with Ali Noff. Guys, wake up. The folks in the Reagan administration are back. They're bigger, they're stronger, and more powerful than ever. And that's what they show you in the fifth season of House of Cards, Bohemian Grove.
And that's why
And
Kevin
there's
Spacey
never been
was
an
that way.
autopsy on that.
Yep.
On Scalia.
So what
I'm
are
saying
some
to you,
solutions?
There's
What
a
can
lot
we
of
do?
stuff going on. And when you look at that decision against the Ecuadorian people, that's just one of many things I can cite to you behind the scene that you don't know about because you'll be being distracted by the daily tweets of Donald Trump or being distracted by him saying S-hole.
Yes.
As you said it earlier, the African leaders probably knew he was going to say that before he said it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're all owned by the same people.
Right.
And you don't bite the hand that feeds you, and you don't bite the hand of the people who got dirt on you. And
Right.
that's why I was always a threat, because I don't, well, there's a saying in politics. There are two people you don't want to wake up with the next morning in bed. Do you know who they are?
Who?
A dead prostitute or a live little boy?
Oh, God.
I'm just telling you, dog. So in Congress, obviously, a lot of people have violated those terms. Probably said that we got some on them, and that's why they just let them get away with what they're getting away with.
But,
You join Skull and Bones. I have sexual impropriety dirt on you. You have sexual impropriety dirt on me, and we never talk about it. Now, as I'm talking to you, I wish I was making this up.
don't make it up. Don't make it up.
Do you know John Kerry
Mm-hmm.
is meeting with certain folks telling them, don't worry about Trump. He'll be gone soon. I'll be running for president in 2020, and I'll take care of it.
No way.
Mm.
No
Oh, yeah.
way.
And what is John Kerry a member of?
Skull and Bones.
Yep.
And did he not run against George W. Bush?
Yes.
And what is George Bush a member of?
Skull and Bones.
I'm not making what I just said. He just said that in the last 48 hours. He just told some people, ignore Trump. He'll be gone soon. I'll be running for president, and I'll take care of it.
Oh my gosh, man. This is horrible.
Yeah, I'm just calling a spade a spade. You guys wanted to know what's going on.
Yes, sir.
That's why we got you on the show.
Yes, sir.
I guess you heard it here first. Hey, by the way, I guarantee you what I just told you, now Alex Jones and the folks who are listening to your show will go, is he telling the truth?
And we would do.
No, on
Right.
Coast to Coast AM people's shows, and I only go on your show and call them up, and there's another show I won't mention, but I only go on shows, and it's funny, right after I do a show, I hear the same crap, and like, they make it sound like they're the ones who came up with it.
Yes!
They're listening, folks. They're listening to your show right now, especially since you guys put that video out there, thanks a lot, on YouTube.
We got some good we got good response to
yes,
that to
we
the
did.
first time you was on the
Exactly.
show.
But
It was
what I'm just
awesome.
telling you is, if you think other folks ain't listening and going, damn. So what I just told you was groundbreaking testimony. John Kerry has met with some folks and told them, ignore Trump, hang in there. I'm running for president, and I'll take care of this. And Trump will be gone.
Dang, dude. Dang, man.
See, I've been hearing some stuff that they were saying that when the next Democratic primary come up, they were going to have between 10 to 12 candidates running. So I guess we can just circle in John Kerry as one of them candidates.
Well, let's put it this way. Seriously, I was with 500,000 women. It's the women who saved this planet. It's going to be the women who's going to vote these bastards out. Now, you got guys like Darrell Issa and other folks in California who are not so far to the right with the John Birch Society. They're not even going to run for office again in California.
Right.
However, I'm going to ask you gentlemen right now, name me one person representing the Democratic Party if he or she was to run today would beat Donald Trump.
No, I can't think of any.
Exactly. That tells you how racist this country is. They can talk all the crap they want. If Donald Trump ran for re-election right now, there's not one single person that the Democratic Party could put up who could beat him.
Right.
No.
So what they're going to do in the midterm elections, overturn the Congress, give it back to the Democrats, and give people a false sense of hope. In 2020, the fight's going to be on between Mike Pence and who knows, some house boule negress like Kamala Harris.
Or they might throw in that poster child, Cory Booker.
Dude, I got so much dirt on. Hey, I got so much dirt on Cory Booker. He should never run.
Oh, I'm waiting for him to run because I'm gonna make videos after that scumbag.
I was happy when Cory Booker put that white girl in her place at the Homeland Security, even though I knew it was all a fraud and a charade to make people feel good. But it made me feel good to hear him tell this white girl, "Shut up," and let me finish.
Right.
Yeah, but he paid the price for that behind closed doors.
Dude, Cory Booker's got so much dirt on him. He's ineffectual. The only people who have no dirt are folks like myself, and that's why I don't run for office. Because I know to run for office, I have to compromise my soul and sell myself out. And I can't do that. So it ain't never going to happen.
That's just like the entertainment industry. You know, you got to suck a dick to get on the fucking show.
And that don't even help
So
sometimes.
we just got this Lifetime Achievement Award in the Hollywood industry.
What was that? Wasn't that Oprah that got that award?
Nah, come on. Who else? Come on. Think about it. Colored Boy.
You saw the award show that they just had?
I think it was Morgan Freeman, wasn't it?
Oh, God.
Was it Morgan Freeman? Anyway, if you look at all these folks, go back and look at their backgrounds and see who they were before they got where they are, man. And I keep talking about Tandy Newton and I talk about Rosario Dawson, but there was one white girl they turned me on to her. I would just shut up and go with.
We don't need you to shut up and go away. We need you to stay in the game.
Aren't you even curious who the white girl was?
Yes.
Well,
Because we love women on this show.
It's just because one of my surfers looks just like her. If they wanted me to shut up and go away, the only white girl in Hollywood they could have hooked me up with was Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
The Black
I'm going to pay
Widow.
for saying that because, hey, dude, trust me, a lot of folks in Hollywood are listening to this show right now. I'm going to pay for saying that.
She'll be knocking on your door.
You know it.
I thought I heard you're interested in me.
What'd you say?
What's the next question?
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Oh, the next question is,
We're at 2
What the
hours.
hell? You told me we were on for 90 minutes. We're already past 90 minutes.
Yes, I was just ready to say.
I asked you
So
like
what-
over an hour ago, was you good on time? And you said you was on the phone, so I left it at
Yeah,
that.
so what's the next
So
question?
I guess I have a question. So with the whole with the Russia investigation going on,
Yes.
like
There is no Russia, but go ahead.
what is your opinion on that?
What do you want to know? That's very vague and ambiguous. First of all, there is no Russia. Go back and watch the movie Network.
Yes.
They tell you there's no Russia. Secondly, I strongly recommend the movie Our Kind of Traitor, because there's a smoking hot sister in it. But yeah, seriously. But that movie tells you there is no Russia. So the oligarchs, and this oligarch thing goes way back. James Madison was one of the founding fathers. Okay? James Madison specifically stated the role of the U.S. federal government should be to protect the opulent minority from the majority. Okay? And they're doing it now. In the old days, they would hire somebody to run for office, but behind the scenes, wealthy folks were the puppet masters. What they're doing now, screw the middleman, the rich folks are running for office themselves. They're
Yep.
the ones that's running for office. Okay?
Yep.
So, there's a lot of drama going on. Merkel's got to go down.
Yeah.
They'll set Merkel up with a few more fake so-called Muslim terrorist activities to make it look like she's ineffectual and can't protect her country. Once Merkel goes down, these folks who've already taken over Great Britain and other countries, Poland, Austria, Hungary. By the way, under Obama allowed neo-Nazis from the U.S. to go over to Crimea and Ukraine. What's going on in this country, folks, is happening around the world. Now, most of my mentors were World War II Nazis and, well, World War II German Nazis right here. And also World War II officers of secret services folks, okay? Most of them are dead now. I'm a Ronin now because my handler's dead. I'll just tell you. Yeah, you guys want to know who my handler was?
Yes.
I'll come back to that. So anyway, what I'm just saying to you is this. It took a lot of years for the Nazis and the corporate fascists to get so-called global empire world power. But I want to tell you straight out, folks, seriously, they're very close now to total domination. And while they got you believing that the Jews run Hollywood, and so when they talk about Weinstein and all these other folks, those folks are like George Soros, that's the Jewish conspiracy. Hey, these folks ain't Jewish, okay? The folks behind the scenes ain't Jewish.
Right.
And I know Brother PW is on the show today, so what I will do is later on, I'm going to send you a photograph of my handle, and then you can do what you want with it.
Okay. Okay.
But I'll just say he was an old school boy, or he's dead now. Oh, I'll give you a hint. He was the founding member of an organization which I was a member of called the Center for Strategic International Studies.
I heard of them.
And he was also the founder of an organization that no longer exists, unlike CSIS. CSIS still exists, but another organization that he was a member of, founding member of, doesn't exist. I was a member of. It's called U.S. Global Strategy Council. So trust me, folks, when I'm sharing information with you, I was an insider.
Yes.
U.S. Global Strategy, U.S. Global Strategy Council.
Sound like precursor to the CRF.
You betcha.
So unless you guys got some more questions for me, I'm gonna run soon because
No. We appreciate it.
Hey, as in the movie Blazing Saddles, the best line in the movie Blazing Saddles is, "Where the white women at?"
Well, Mark from Anaheim, we, I think I can speak for everyone here. We are so thankful.
Fuck, I got somebody knocking at my door.
Oh,
This guy's
stop.
costing me my life, man.
Stop.
Dude, I'm serious. I gotta go.
All right. Well, thank you, brother.
Mark from Anaheim, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, Mark from Anaheim.
Another
Good,
epic
great
show.
show.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir.
All righty.
Man, so that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
It,
Mark
it
is off.
makes it makes a whole lot of sense on why they're not really trying to investigate this whole
Of
ordeal
course.
with Russia, because
No.
there's more players that are
And-
involved
yes.
in the Republican Party. That's
That
just why
players that has to come out later on down the line.
because if you notice, like you look at what Robert Mueller did, he was like, okay, I look at the first intelligence committee, they got quote unquote a bipartisan
Right.
group. He's like, they're not going to do nothing.
No.
So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to host my own investigation and hire my attorneys and all that, because they're getting ready to bring the rain.
Yes.
Old boys get ready to go in
Mhm.
with no lawyers, and they're going to put him under oath.
Mhm.
If they could catch him
Yes.
if they say, if he says, they ask him, well, what do you know about this? Well, I really don't know. Well, this is what we got. Because once he's indicted, he has no pardon in power. And if you look at Jared Kushner and Donald Trump Jr.,
Mhm.
you haven't seen them or heard anything from them.
No.
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 They're like,
Yeah.
one false move, we got you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it all leads down to shady business deals.
Yes.
That's all it was. Russia had nothing to do with Donald Trump beating Hillary Clinton.
No.
That was a fabricated story.
They could have
right
brought
from
a
the-
baby out.
Yeah,
And
like I said,
they would have won.
if they would have got some halfway decent bread,
Yeah.
some ham with some cheese,
People
and
would've went for it.
and people would have, and that person would have beat Donald Trump.
But
And I kind of
was
feel, I kind of
not
also
the
feel
play.
too. It's like like when you come from the streets, and if the feds is watching you, okay, they might let you. They still may let you hustle for
Mhm.
7-8 years
Mhm.
before
Yeah.
they got you. All they doing is let him expose himself
Yeah.
Yes.
by what he's tweeting, by what he's saying, and everything else
And
like
then
that. And
right
they're
back
making
in.
him think that he's
Mhm.
not being targeted.
Yep.
And guess what's gonna happen? It's always a cause and effect, because I feel like something's gonna come about since he's overseas,
Mhm.
and then because he leaves because he doesn't want to deal
Yeah.
with what's going
Stuff
on
here.
right here.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's because obstruction of justice is not enough to get him impeached.
Mm-mm.
Because even
Not
if
with
they
a-
was to vote on
Not
it
with
in
a,
the
not with a
House,
Republican House
Yeah.
of Congress. No.
even if it was to pass in the House, because that's where the
The
impeachment
Senate
starts.
Yeah.
shut that
The,
down.
the Senate's gonna be like, oh well, there's not enough evidence.
Yeah.
But it's the money laundering and the treason, because it's like you have Steve Bannon
Mhm.
coming out saying stuff. He told the reporters, or the investigators, I want to talk to Robert Mueller.
Yep.
Now, why would he do that?
Cause it's all a big cabal, man.
Yeah.
It's all a big cabal. They all in it together. To be my personal opinion, to be honest, I think that Trump they ain't gonna do nothing,
No.
because the powers that be gonna be like, you can at the end of the
Because
day,
you're helping me, man.
Yeah.
You're helping me make money,
Right.
Trump, so you keep doing what you got to
Yep.
do. But then later on, me and my cohort here, oh no, Trump wasn't what we were talking
Yep.
about. We were talking about John Kerry. And then he gonna keep on making us rich.
Yep.
Now we kick you down a couple dollars because you play ball.
Yeah.
All right.
I remember we was having a conversation and I said that Trump might not be a billionaire when he came into office,
Well, he sure
but
not-
when he leave there, he's gonna be one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
He's gonna be a billionaire when he leaves. Now, how many billions he gonna have when he leaves?
Who knows?
Who knows? But if he wasn't one when he went in,
He's
he damn
certainly-
sure gonna be one when he leave out. You know?
Exactly. So
Now-
it kind of makes a sense where they're not
Yeah.
acting hastily enough. I mean, imagine if we was to commit these crimes.
Oh
I already
God.
been a rap.
I mean, they put us in the microwave.
They'd have been at your mama house, your grandmama house, your cousin house,
Yes.
your uncle you ain't seen in 20 years. They'd have been at his house. If
Yeah.
they wasn't at his house, it was somebody staked out outside the house. You know what I'm saying? So we already know if they want to come get you, they gonna come and get you.
And
They
ain't
know-
nothing stopping it.
Nope,
I
and
think
they
they're-
know everything we do.
I think there could be one person that you guys Brother Mark and you guys too were mentioning, who's the person from the Democratic Party that could stand up to Donald Trump?
Who?
The thing is to me, I think Hakeem Jeffries can do it.
Hakeem Jeffries?
I think Hakeem Jeffries can do it.
I don't think anybody under this political system that we're under right now
Right.
can beat Donald Trump. They're not going to be, nobody from the outside is going to come in and beat them. Nobody.
He
It's
does
going to
have
be.
popular support.
It's going to be
And that's
whoever
that's
they
a
want.
tragedy and a blessing at the same time. Because, for people to be like, I like to hear what he has to say.
Put it this way: if somebody beat Trump, then you better start thinking who paid him and who supported him. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, nobody that's going to do anything other than what the gatekeepers want done
Right.
is going to win.
We
So,
only got
if
15 more seconds, guys, left of this broadcast. I want to let the audience out there know. You see this team right here? This team right here is permanent. This ain't no short term. We're in for the long term. So once you guys fall in love with us three on the other morning show and other guest hosts that comes onto there, do not fear. We are not breaking up this team. This here goes until he dies, or I die. And we're going to keep on going. So thank you all for watching the show. And this is the other morning show. I am True Powers Mind.
I'm Dimebag Dolly.
I'm your boy C.I. Cobra Mortal. What?
Peace.
Peace out. Yay.
Boy from Anaheim, ladies and gentlemen.
And tune in next Friday for Jane Elliott.
Yes,
Powerful
Jane
lady.
Elliott.
Lady.
Blind Eye.
Jane Elliott.
And you also will be seeing Miss True Powers Mind on that episode. My wife will be sitting in on that show and asking questions. And the cruise is going to get bigger, guys. So thank you all for watching, and
Salute.
we will talk to you.
Peace.